Sport.
The 2026 Sheffield Shield Final. Victoria versus South Australia.
Harvey on strike, Boland around the wicket. It's edged and caught. Boland breaks through.
Probing away now from the city end. It's a slower ball. It's nicked and it's into the hands of second slip.
Live from Junction Oval.
In comes Sutherland again. Gets the edge, does he? Yes, he does. And that is a big wicket.
ABC Sport, your home of cricket.
And welcome back to Junction Oval ahead of play on day 2. And delighted to say the sun is out at the moment. It's blowing a gale here, but play is set to commence on time, a slightly earlier start time today of 10 a.m. local time. I'm Ned Hall, along with Mitch Turner. We'll be calling all the action and joined in the commentary box by Brad Hodge, Kelly Applebee, and alongside me at the moment, Rob Quiney in jumper, long pants, just an indication of how the weather has turned a little bit more today.
Yeah, I've gone early, Ned. I really wanted to hold on to the shorts for another, I reckon, 4 or 5 weeks, but unfortunately, this wind's coming straight from Antarctica, I reckon. It's freezing out there, and I checked the forecast, and it's actually going to be a 35 to 40k wind day for the majority. So not only is this game challenging in itself, there's conditions here that are going to be testing for both batters and bowlers.
Well, we're just watching, as we saw yesterday, young Sam Elliott down here at this city end of the ground doing some practice running in from here. He bowled quite a few overs before play yesterday, and he finished off yesterday bowling into the lunch break, but I don't think he's taken the ball first thing this morning, but he's running up into the wind, just getting a few early overs in.
100%, and to paint the picture for those listening at home, and thanks for tuning in, we've actually got Sam Elliott at the bottom end on the practice wicket next to the South Australia's bowling coach, bowling to the Victorian bowling coach at the other end, who's next to Nathan McAndrew, who's bowling at the other end. So hopefully the maturity plays out here and there's no sort of like secrets or whispers, but I'm sure there's a bowling coach there saying, mate, your front arm was a bit off then, just to play a few mind games.
Yeah, Nathan McAndrew just running in and having a practice bowl now. So the state of play here is that South Australia will be resuming shortly on 3 for 55. We had one session of play yesterday in which those 3 wickets fell. Then Mackenzie Harvey, Henry Hunt and Jason Sangha with the men out. A partnership of 34 between Nathan McSweeney and Alex Carey took South Australia through to the lunch break. And it's going to be an interesting morning session coming up here. Certainly the thought from you guys yesterday was that the bowling was a touch short yesterday from the Victorians. That will have definitely been the message drilled into the players over the extended lunch break yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. And I envision that conditions haven't changed much, if at all, really. Generally, when they change, it's because of warmer temperature, the sun baking on the wicket, and as we know, the covers went down yesterday and probably only come off, I reckon, about, well, hopefully not overnight, but probably about 7 o'clock this morning. So conditions should be the same. As you said, lessons learned, and then it's about execution, because I don't think that they necessarily bowled short for a reason. I think they just miscued. So it's really important that they hit their straps, they hit their lengths, and in saying that, though, they were really good, the Victorian bowlers, in being able to restrict Alex Carey, who really looked like he wanted to force the pace a little bit more, like he always does. So there's a balance there of some good and some bad as well.
Just looking on our monitor away to our right, and it looks quite ominously dark over there. But strangely, there's a thin, narrow band of rain that's moving directly from the south and completely missing us at the moment. So I think we're going to be fine throughout this morning session. So it's a longer morning session, but we should get the whole play in.
For those who are listening on the wireless and not on the phone, do yourself a favour, jump on the radar and have a look at the Melbourne radar, and you'll see it is a fascinating line. It's just coming up. It'll be, I reckon the bay is probably 2 kilometres over there, Ned.
Yeah.
And I reckon it's just getting a little bit of rain, and we've got the sun over us. So it's weird how it works. Yeah. I'm not a meteorologist. Someone said yesterday that we could be meteorologists because it's so hard to predict the weather. We can just say anything, especially in Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I saw that the first thing this morning. I thought, oh, we're in a bit of trouble here. Then I realised it was moving directly past us. So, yeah, we should be all right for a longer day of play today. The extra half hour taken at the start of the day's play. And obviously this extra sort of a 2.5 hour session for us to take us through to the lunch session. The roller's still down there at the moment. I've got to say, it looks great on the outfield. You had a wander out there earlier on. Doesn't seem to be any water still sitting around the edge of the square.
No, dry. So they even went round with like a squeegee type thing to lift the water up, whatever was remaining about when I got here about 8:45, and there was nothing to come up anyway. So they've done their best. The sun's out, and to be fair, as much as it's cold, it's very windy. So anything that's moisture out there will be picked up by the wind. So Outfield will be dry. Wicket still looks good. Spoke with Ryan Harris this morning, which is great, because obviously he's the South Australian coach, but one of the most amazing bowlers, in his own right in the first place. And just talking about the wicket and that it hadn't been taking any divots. So there's two types of divots can be taken from the wicket. Depends how soft it is. There's a pitch divot, which means there's an indentation in the pitch itself. And then there's grass divots. So wickets that have a lot of grass on them, sometimes it burns the grass as the ball skids past it as part of the delivery. So not many of that, if at all, which means that the surface is pretty good surface. And it also means, as he said, that come the second innings, it doesn't mean it's going to nip around a little bit more. So he's happy with that. But geez, I'm fascinated with. I literally said to someone today, I can't wait for today to be over because I want to know where the game's going to be at.
Yeah, feels like it's going to be a big day. If it felt like there was a lot would have played out in the afternoon session.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fascinating morning session of play. South Australia, I think, would have been delighted to get to that lunch break. 3 wickets down with 2 set batters out there. And the Vics, I think, would have been relatively happy to have picked up the 3 wickets. Having won the toss and sent them in, to remove 3 top-order batters is probably not a bad result for them.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned on air yesterday that, if anything, the South Australians would probably have wanted to bat for another half an hour instead of come off for lunch. And, if they were able to do that, then who knows? It might be 3 for 70, and they're walking off going, we won that session. So keep getting the text in if you can. Here we go. What do we got? 0467 920 222. That's right, 0467 920 222. Morning, boys. Looking forward to the best call on Australian radio. And long pants for Quiney. Soft. Regards to Terrelgan Tiger. Well, the Terrelgan Tiger, I've been supportive of you all day yesterday. But you're right, there's an element of resilience that's not quite there. I think you've hit the nail on the head. So honest feedback is always welcome. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I thought I'd just put that out to you as well. But I've got the long pants as well today, and I'm usually slow to get out of the shorts as well. But we've got the window shut too, which I think we've got to, just because otherwise nothing's going to stay on the desk here.
It's definitely not because, definitely not because it's a cold breeze. I think paper's going to go everywhere, and there'd be a whistle, and I'm sure the Terrelgan Tiger doesn't want to listen to us with the going on as well. So
I've got a feeling you might hear a bit of wind whistling through there regardless today. It's been coming through a bit earlier this morning. It just seems to have died down a touch as the umpires go walking out onto the field. A little handshake between the 2 standing umpires. The Vics are about to make their way over the boundary rope away to our left, and Alex Carey and Nathan McSweeney also set to walk out onto field to resume their innings today. 3 for 55, the South Australians. McSweeney on 25 and Carey is on 11. A little tight huddle formed by the Victorians, who looked very relaxed earlier on today. We were watching their game of football that they were playing earlier this morning.
Soccer volleyball.
And it was very harsh on the team that were at this end of the ground. The ball was racing away. I saw you chasing after the ball at one stage. It was getting blown down towards the media centre end.
Yeah, it was literally, it's a southerly. So they were kicking in to the wind, and it's one of those games where you're using a volleyball, you're trying to use it like soccer skills, and you kick the ball into the wind, and it's like if you're on the golf course at the tiniest of slice, and it turns into a massive one. So very hard to serve, very one-sided, but it gets them going. And for a lot of people, I think of a Pete Hanscom, Scott Boland and Marcus Harris, who have played so many games, and which means so many warm-ups. I think the thing they actually look forward to is less so the game itself, it's the soccer volleyball game that they look forward to.
Yes, a lot of players aren't massive fans of the actual proper warm-ups that they have to go through. So if you're kicking the ball around, it's a lot more fun. As the Vics are just lining up on the field, I'd say everybody, except for Fergus O'Neill, who's has got the sweater on out there. He's the only one with no sweater on, although he has got the long, sort of the tubes on his arms. Yep. So he's got sort of long sleeves on in that sense. But
and hands in the pocket too. Yep. So maybe the sleeveless sweater might be an option for him. Who knows?
I was just looking yesterday as well. I was doing my notes before this match and just going through and reading up on Fergus. And it does say, I'm sure it's listed on Cricket. In fact, listed him as being 6'4". Now,
really?
Yeah. Which I was going to query, because you see him out there and you think, I think he's a bit short of that, to be honest. I think he might pull it in himself. Yeah.
6'1".
Yeah. He's a bit, like, obviously when you've got Will Sutherland out there, Sam Elliott, those guys have got him comfortably covered. So Fergus O'Neill still hands in his pockets as he walks over to the square leg umpire to take up his fielding position. And we've got
good luck to Sam Najoski over there, because if Fergus is next to him, he's going to lose one ear.
Well, they've got 2 slips in place at the moment: a gully, point, cover, mid-on, mid-off. Fergus O'Neill standing at square leg, and Tom Murphy down at long leg. So we're just waiting for Scott Boland to come in for this first ball of the day. Clock has ticked over to 10 a.m. so we can get things underway, and it's Scott Boland bowling with the wind at his back from the Fitzroy Street end. Start of day 2 here, the Shield Final. He comes up, bit of width, and that's crashed away. First time by Alex Carey, running on towards that cover boundary. A bit of a loosener from Scott Boland, bit short, bit wide, and Alex Carey doesn't miss out.
That's that's a brave shot from Alex Carey. It doesn't really surprise anyone up here that he's played that shot, even first ball, but it is still a brave shot. And it's interesting, it made me think, albeit in that 15-second passage of play there, that there were teams that used to try and line Brett Lee up when he first bowled because they knew that the ball would roughly be in an area. It's a warm-up ball. So maybe he had that intent going, Barrel's going to warm into his spell, knowing him quite well.
He's coming around the wicket to Carey. This one flicks away. Trying to pull the bat out of the way slightly then, Alex Carey. It drops well short of Peter Hanscom's second slip. But a better ball from Boland.
And so you sort of play with fire here. I really like the option that the opposition, South Australia in this case, take it to a Scott Boland, because if they let him settle and he hits his 20-cent piece, by geez, he's hard to play, isn't he? Particularly as a left-hand batter. But if you put it back on him and force him to change his ways or think differently, then maybe they're a chance. If you get 20 off Scott Boland, you're going pretty well.
Carey slapping the bat into the ground as it comes down the leg side. There's a shout of catch it then, but no appeal from anybody as the ball goes through to the gloves of Sam Harper. Just drifting on the leg side, a touch there, Scott Boland.
And the same thing happened yesterday, Ned. I reckon it took him 2 overs to actually find his groove. And as a batter, that's a really good thing, right? You know that you're given some siders. There was, I think, 2 or 3 balls down leg side in his first over. We've seen one there again. The first one was a bit of a loosener. And I remember Brad Hodge saying yesterday that bowlers set the tone. In a situation like this, the bowlers are setting the tone. They make it hard for the batters, then the fielders can come with them.
Alex Carey definitely looked like he was trying to dictate terms as well when he got out there yesterday. Faces it to Boland again. This one chucks back in towards Alex Carey. Just a little look down at the edge of his bat then and walks out. Gives it a wipe down on the turf. Just a bit of dirt on the
what he's wiping. I'm hoping it's not from a seagull that have been flying past us there.
There's a little army of seagulls actually where he'd driven the ball up to down the deep cover area.
Playing a lot of club cricket here in yesteryear, Nedley. The seagulls are at the Fitzroy Street end. Years gone by, they were down just in front of us. They used to congregate, little pocket just down here, behind where the slips are, but not to be anymore. They found a new resting place.
A new spot as Boland comes into Carey again. He gets behind this, just pushes it out to point. Campbell Callaway fields the ball then and tosses it through to the gloves of Sam Harper.
A much better length there from Scott Boland, just bringing Alex Carey forward. One of the gripes, I think, from us, and you mentioned it in the pre-show, that probably a bit short. And so clearly he's trying to hit his length, and it's been back of a length. And what we've seen with the field at the moment is that mid-off and point in particular are sitting deep to Alex Carey, because he's not a very big drop and run person. He loves to hit the ball hard to the fielder, try and hit through the fielder, and they're trying to make that a bit difficult for him.
Marcus Harris hat blow off and fly across the outfield as Boland in again. In towards the hips of Carey, leans into this, drops it out on the onside, runs up to Sam Elliott at mid-on, and that is the end of the first over. So the 4 runs coming from it from the very first delivery of the day. And Scott Boland collects his cap and jumper and wanders back to his fielding position. He seemed a little unsettled yesterday, Scott Boland. We saw him come off the field on a couple of occasions, whether it was his footwear, his boots, something not quite right was bothering him a bit.
Yeah, it could be like a bit of tackiness at the bowling crease. They could be doing that. Another text has come in, which is great. We've got Victorian people and South Australian people tuning in, which is great. Good morning. Hey, boys, big day today. McSweeney to hopefully stand up with a big score and push for Australian selection again. Up the Redbacks from Smitty. Well, Smitty, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Clearly, I've got a bias to want Victoria to win here, but I couldn't think of anything better than seeing McSweeney make a big score in the first innings.
Fergus O'Neill begins from this City end. It drifts towards leg stump. It's just clipped off the pads of Nathan McSweeney and runs off to the boundary for 4 runs. So, again, a bit of a loosener from Fergus O'Neill, first ball in.
Well, Smitty, well done, mate. There you go. There's your boundary. Great start. First ball of the morning, and I said it before, bowlers set the tone. And as a batter, you get one off the legs and you get 4 for it. All of a sudden, those nerves, the anxiety around it, just ease a little bit.
O'Neill in again. That's a much better ball. It jags back in. There's a huge appeal from the Victorians then for McSweeney being caught in front. Hand on the chin of Fergus O'Neill. He really liked that one. Unfortunately for Fergus O'Neill, umpire disagrees.
I reckon it was height. He's batting on off stump, so he does creep across. Yeah, there you go. It's just in a replay. Could be going down leg side. I think there's enough doubt not to give that. I think that's a good decision there from Sean Craig.
Just above the knee roll when it hits him on the pads as O'Neill back in again to McSweeney, pushed out on the offside, and they set up for a quick single. He has to swerve to avoid Fergus O'Neill. There's Nathan McSweeney as he goes through, but he gets the single and gets Alex Carey onto strike.
Really good batting there, McSweeney. Just a stock standard, back of a length, 6 stump line. In position nice and quickly, and probably the intent here. And already we've seen 5 runs this morning and 5 runs off this over as well. So the pressure's on O'Neill. We saw Alex Carey go hard first ball with Scott Boland, so there's no reason why, if he gets the right ball here, Alex Carey, he doesn't do something like drop kicking him over mid-on.
A bit of the wind whistling through in the background there as O'Neill in again to Carey. This one's played up on the onside up towards mid-on.
One thing I was impressed with yesterday, Ned, was the Victorians' fielding. I thought Campbell Kellaway in particular saved probably about 5 or 6 runs. I think Dylan Brasher did the same at one stage. Ollie Peake, there was an effort. So the young brigade certainly doing their job, looking after blokes like Marcus Harris and, of course, Pete Hanscom.
2 jumpers on for Marcus Harris.
Oh, yeah.
He stands with his hands in his pockets at mid-off as O'Neill in again around the wicket, punched up towards Marcus Harris, but just cut off before it reaches him.
I'll tell you what this is good for especially for Marcus and for Pete Hanscom, is they're about to head over to England next week. And the conditions over there will be colder than what it is here. So they will be, they've got those, you know, the sachets.
Yeah, the little hand warmers.
Hand warmers.
Yeah. Yep. Start of the English summer, never good.
You can't really call it a summer, can you?
O'Neill in again. This one's driven up towards Marcus Harris. And again, they set off and take a quick single. A bit of a shy at the stumps, but he safely gets through. And they add one more to the total. 3 for 65 the score. A bit of intent from these two out there just to try and keep rotating the strike and maybe just tick the scoreboard along a little bit and not get bogged down. So taking that single to round off the over. Score 3 for 65. McSweeney's on to 30 now and Carey is on 16.
I was lucky enough to run into Alex Carey in the stairwell yesterday, and it's always one of those ones where we see how conditions are from our point of view. We see that it looks tough, and, you know, asked him, and he goes, look, the bounce is certainly there, and he just looked at me and said, it's hard work out there. It's really hard work. So, you know, for them to come out and show this intent, all of a sudden it just means, you know what, we need to attack to try and put it back on the Victorian bowlers.
Boland in around the wicket. He slams that one in short, and it loops over the head of Sam Harper, runs down to the boundary rope, signalled as 4 wides. That was well, probably twice the height of Alex Carey when it went past him and down leg side.
Even if Sam Harper had a trampoline, he's not getting that one, Ned. Just watching a replay, it's wide down leg side and probably 2 body lengths of Sam Harper. He's missed by a long way. We laugh about it, but the pressure's on Scott Boland here right now.
He slammed that one in ridiculously short as he comes in again. That's a much better ball. It cuts Alex Carey in half. That's not a bad comeback from Scott Boland as he stands and stares down at his Australian teammate. That's a great recovery from Boland.
That is the line that I think for someone like Alex Carey, he loves freeing his arms. Seeing a replay now, it pitched probably like 5th stump, and with the angle and seam back in, it's gone over middle and leg. But for me, it's the length, Ned.
Yeah.
You're bringing him forward, and if you can bring him forward and restrict his width, I think he'll try and look to open the blade to hit the offside, or you'd be happy with him going across the line as well.
What's this delivery got from Scott Boland as he runs in now? Width just punched out to point from Alex Carey, and a big shout of no straight away. It was straight out to Campbell Callaway. Flowing back round the field. 3 for 70 the score now. Big partnership this.
Beansy from Broadford's written in, and I'm loving this interaction with you guys who are listening. It's awesome. But is that Mitch in disguise?
Yeah, yeah. Mitch and Lee, possibly. at the back of the box. Did you all get stuck into Crossy yesterday afternoon after he stated the weather was going to miss the junction?
Tune in on Monday. That's where we'll get stuck into him.
We might see him on Sunday evening as well if they've won the grand final up the road, as Boland comes in around the wicket, punched up towards mid-off, and they run through and take another quick single. St Kilda Rooms, as he was saying, at the bottom of the Blackie Ironmonger stand, so they might be making a return visit down here if they do win the match against Melbourne Cricket Club. Yeah,
they might do, and they want to. The only problem is that they'll very much be restricted to that little bit area because it's a public game. Then it's got to be roped off. Just seeing Scott Boland again, looking to Mitch Perry down here, whether they need to get the knife or the screw tightener again too. I reckon he's still getting some stuff going on with his boots here. You're spot on, Ned. Yesterday there was a bit of coming off and going on again, and he's still checking his boots, and maybe he's not just getting. We're probably being a bit harsh here, saying that he's not hitting his areas, and maybe he's slipping a bit at the crease.
He's coming back over the wicket to the right-handed McSweeney. He races into him now and let go by McSweeney outside the off stump, maybe a touch short of the length he would have preferred then Scott Boland. It's interesting with some bowlers as well, not all bowlers, but a lot of bowlers, it gets into their heads a little bit if their feet aren't.
They don't trust it.
Yeah, and so it's very hard for them to really run in with full confidence when they think the foot might be slipping.
Well, especially someone like Scott Boland's at peak fitness right now, but he's still a heavy set lad, right? Mm. So him going into that crease and it's a little bit soft, you just don't trust it.
So he's back at the top of his mark again. Again, there's still the leg slip in place for Nathan McSweeney with Scott Boland coming in. 2 slips and a gully. Boland comes in now to McSweeney. It's just clipped out around the corner. Leg slips a bit of a chase across there to collect the ball and flicked in then to Sam Harper, and they get through and pick up another single.
So last game here at the Junction Oval, Ned, Victoria got McSweeney out with a pull shot in the first innings. Yes, we saw him play a magnificent pull shot off Scott Boland yesterday. Like, that for me was the shot of the game. But I still think it's an opportunity for them to try and exploit. It says to me, someone who's so resolute, someone who's so willing to leave the ball and make them bowl to you, that's a shot he trusts, but the Victorians should look at it as a bit of a risk and an opportunity. So, yes, the leg slips in there for that straighter ball, for that inside edge, but I think the upstairs might be an option for McSweeney.
Boland over the wicket still to left-handed Carey. And that's the end of the over, and the score's moved on to 3 for 72. McSweeney on 31, and Carey is on 17 of 52 deliveries. Bowled 11 overs now in the match, 1 for 30, Scott Boland. It was Fergus O'Neill, 1 for 15 at the other end. And he'll have the ball tossed his way now to begin his second over of the morning. I wonder as well whether or not Scott Boland decided to come back over the wicket then to the left-hander, whether he felt more comfortable on that side of the pitch with his footing and where he was landing.
I think you're spot on. I think he's trying to find a dry spot there to land on. I like bowlers who go over and around the wicket to the left-hander.
O'Neill into McSweeney, not far outside the off-stump. It was left well alone, raised the bat and let it go through, but nice line.
But Scott Boland's the bowler that will just lock in. He's around the wicket and will know and think that he can get that left-hander from around the wicket. I think in a situation for the South Australians, I think people like Buckingham and McSweeney, McAndrew, they should be coming over and around, particularly to guys like Kellaway and Brasher, just to really just mess their angles.
O'Neill comes into the McSweeney now, played out on the onside, and Kellaway in to collect the ball and visit through into the gloves of Sam Harper.
Clearly a plan here, only sort of exemplified because of the field change. Cover has come across to mid-wicket, so we've seen them bowl relatively straight to McSweeney here. They've honed in on off-stump and fourth stump, which is the stump next to off-stump, if there was one. And now the mid-wickets, and now they've got protection, so it's almost saying, go harder if you want to get through.
O'Neill, and again, nice line outside the off-stump. That's a good line he's bowling at the moment, around that fourth stump line, Fergus O'Neill, and getting some encouragement from behind the stumps.
Encouragement.
Just a check out there as well.
What are you looking for, mate?
Just want to see if Scott Boland's ducked off.
No, he's off, yeah. So Mitch Perry's at backward square. So Mitch ducked down to get some change of boots, and we've got Scott down there in the dugout.
With his boots on now.
It's like guys with specific bats.
Yep.
He's got specific shoes ready to go.
In comes O'Neill. Trying to work that away on the onside, drops down a couple of metres off in front of him. The reason I was unsure, because Mitch Perry's got the same brown-coloured cap on as Campbell Callaway out there. I suddenly think, oh, it's Callaway's on the opposite side.
I think we got a text through yesterday, which we didn't read out, but it was talking about how often maybe the Victorians need to change their hats, because when you do wear it for a little bit, and Marcus Harris isn't too bad, but Pete Hanscom's and Mitch Perry's, it almost goes that tinge of purple.
Yeah. As Fergus O'Neill again played out on the onside, another dot ball. Well, it was noticeable when they had the team photo that it was almost a mix of caps down there of various different shades and colours, whereas the Sackers, when they came out, all bright red and brand new caps. I think Crossy was talking about the fact that they'd had a big replacement drive across the whole of their former players to bring them new caps, because they had a few that were apparently lower quality and didn't weather as well, so they've given them all brand new caps. They did look a bit more uniform.
To some people, though, when you get your cap, like I wouldn't want to give it up too easy.
As O'Neill in again, that's just front foot forward, drop down on the onside by McSweeney. That's another good delivery and a maiden over from Fergus O'Neill. So 11 overs now, 1 for 15, 5 maiden overs Fergus O'Neill has bowled so far in this match.
I really like where he's locked into here, Ned. The field placement from cover to mid-wicket is a really good one. 3 balls before that, we saw McSweeney try and get on that back foot to work it harder than he normally does. And I think that's a moral victory already for O'Neill, because it's challenging him to go out of his comfort zone, out of what he really wants to do. And I think that's a win. So the patience game there for O'Neill. We know he can bowl long spells. He's absolutely miserly, as you said. 5 maidens, 1 for 15 off 11. So he's happy to lock in, but he's also hungry for another wicket too.
You were getting, I think yesterday, after you'd gone off air, there was a comparison with you and Warney, because I think you talked about the frustration he was showing and what he needed to do, Fergus O'Neill, and I think he took the wicket next ball, so you were being spot on with that. As Scott Boland, ball in hand now, comes into Carey over the wicket again from the Fitzroy Street end, gets back behind the ball, solid drive up to mid-off. Alex Carey. Sam Harper just down, tying his laces.
Geez, he looks in good nick at the moment, Alex Carey. There's a couple of people coming in with South Australian blazers on, which is great. The crowd building up, even though it is cold.
Well, there's a little tent down away to our left, which apparently I think is from
for the South Australians.
That they've got just down to the side of the pavilion, little seats set up outside it.
Spoke with Jake Lehman this morning, and most, if not all, of the players have got some sort of either partner or family and or friends who have made the trek.
Bowling in, this is worked away on the onside by Carey, but picked up by Fergus O'Neill.
Which is great. Yes, it's good to have them at the game. It's probably more so for that, you know, the morning and in particular post-day's play connection to really switch off if you need to, reconnect, and also for those who are close to you to come part of the journey, right?
Yeah. Not sure if his old man would be out here, although he's obviously got coaching commitments over in the UK.
He does, and he'll be a lot colder than what we are here. He's coaching at Northants. I think his first season was there last year.
Yeah. If he's listening.
ABC legend, isn't he?
Buff, yeah. But also terrible spectator of his son as well. I think even when he's not there, I think when he was in the box and his son's ticking along nicely, he was very nervous as Boland comes in around the wicket to Carey, and he drives this straight up just to the side of Nathan McSweeney and on towards the boundary rope at mid-on, and the ball wins the race on that occasion from Sam Elliott. And so 4 runs, beautifully played. And again, no real power hit through the shot, just beautiful timing from Carey, raced off the bat and off the bat boundary rope.
McSweeney's pull shot's gone into second place now. That was a magnificent on-drive. People always talk about the on-drive being the hardest shot to play. Scott Boland had bowled his first 2 balls over the wicket, had come around the wicket to change the angle, and he didn't try and overhit that. He just showed the full face of that Kookaburra blade, and that raced to the boundary.
So Boland still sticking around the wicket to Carey. Drives it back up to the bowler, and he collects it, shapes to have a shot at the stumps.
Really important. I think I spoke about the battle of Murphy and Carey, and then also Boland and Carey yesterday. And at the moment, you know, Carey's winning this battle. He was strike rate of about 28. Now he's nearly at 40. So not only is he getting through this first half an hour here for the South Australians, he's actually starting to accumulate at a decent clip as well.
Yeah, this is a really key session, you feel, for this South Australian innings with these 2 out there.
For the game, isn't it?
It's Boland. Again around the wicket to Carey, pushes this one away into the covers. Straight at the fielder out there, only peeking. It's a dot ball.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some stage soon that square leg drops for Scott Boland. And it's not so much for a strategy to bowl bouncers. It's more to just plant the seed that one might be coming, but also potentially to tempt him to go across the line a little bit when, well, there we go. Deep square's going out now. To also just like bring other people into the game.
Spot again then, Bobby Quiney. As soon as you said that, Fergus O'Neill does drop back to deep square leg.
Well, there's my one oracle moment for the day gone. Goes downhill from here.
Couldn't get it in early.
Correct.
He's slightly backward as well, off square leg. Fergus O'Neill had a good look around there, Alex Carey, as Boland comes racing in now, and this is just worked out on the onside. He runs all the way down to Fergus O'Neill. He sprints round from the boundary rope. They just get through and take a single, and that is the end of the over. 3 for 77. Carey on to 22, and McSweeney is there on 31. Fergus O'Neill will continue from this city end here. As a little bit of the wind whistling there in the background. Still some dark clouds away to her right behind the Blackie Ironmonger and Shane Warne stands, but sun on most of the field around Junction Oval here today.
Cricket Victoria have got a big function at lunchtime for the Cricket Victoria Foundation. They've got Simon O'Donnell, Matthew Elliott and Andrew McDonald as their guest speakers. So where are we?
Top line interviewer in place as well as O'Neill around the wicket to Carey. It's punched out on the offside. Have you got some questions lined up for them for your interview?
Yeah, I've got a few questions. I try and keep my questions pretty generic, and I try to listen to them and then sort of try and take some stories from there. You can see the side panels there that are alongside the sight screens down here, just blowing over. My barbecue cover got blown off last night, so it's not the end of the world, but I just hope my barbecue doesn't start to rust.
Yeah, the wind really got up overnight last night. Fair bit of rain around too as O'Neill and again to Carey steps forward and pushes it out on the offside. Field races in with a dot ball.
His lengths have been absolutely spot on today here, Fergus O'Neill. He cleaned up his line after his first and second balls. Now, I spoke about the fielders with Alex Carey being a little bit deeper than they normally would for other batters. Mid-on is that case in point as well. Most mid-ons would be sitting there trying to hunt the single. Sam Elliott's probably about 5 meters deeper. I think he can actually come even further back.
O'Neill around the wicket. Carey uses his feet, comes down the pitch and tries to punch that one away. Got a bit of bottom edge on that, runs up towards mid-on. And so no run taken, but you can just see that nagging length and that persistence then from O'Neill, just forcing Carey to think outside the box and try and mix things up.
Well, it's something that Carey does to bowlers at times as well, and I think it's a really good strategy against someone like Fergus O'Neill as well.
A message in from the Traralgon Tiger for you there, Bobby, which we'll come to in a moment as O'Neill in around the wicket. Pitched up, shot beautifully, but sliding stop then and really well rounded up by Marcus Harris. It's diving across to his right, almost bisected the two fielders there who are standing a few metres apart, though. Sure, Fergus O'Neill's just tweaking where he wants them in the field, or
yeah. Good pick up there, Ned. He's just pointed to Ollie Peake to sort of find out what line he's at, what he could do, maybe sit deeper. He's actually taken a few more steps back now, Ollie Peake. Marcus Harris is almost like a mid-off when a Todd Murphy's bowling.
Yeah. In comes O'Neill to Carey, looks to pull this one. It bounces away off his hip and runs out on the offside.
You got lucky then, Fergus O'Neill. I think that's the right shot. It's that back of a length in the middle and off stump. And Carey doesn't play it conventionally. He doesn't play that step back and pivot type of pull shot. He sort of stands and delivers. This time he's trying to jump and shovel it over Todd Murphy at square leg. But certainly the shot's on, and Fergus O'Neill just got to keep trusting his lengths.
Again around the wicket to Carey. Once he pitched up, this is driven up then to cover a region. The dot ball. Good over this from Fergus O'Neill. Another maiden over in the bank for O'Neill. So it's just that difference, as you say, that line he's got and that decent length that he's been bowling at. Very, very hard work out there for these South Australian batters.
Well, it is, but it actually looks like it's tough work for the Victorian bowlers at the moment. And don't discount what this wind's doing for them as well. And I think that's where, you know, there's an opportunity here for the South Australian batters. We haven't seen much seam movement as yet. And I don't know whether sometimes it's you know, it's that half an hour to 40 minutes after the roller's worn off that you might see a little bit more. We've seen one cut Alex Carey in half.
Yeah.
So I think Scott Boland's just missing his areas. But Fergus O'Neill's generally someone who can seam, and I reckon he's only seamed 1 or 2 balls today. So there's a real opportunity here for the South Australian batters. We, speaking off air with Kelly Applebee about, she said, what do you reckon par is? And I think the South Australians will be generally looking for somewhere between 220 and 230 from this position.
In comes Boland again, it jags back, and there's a big shout for a leg before. Very quickly dismissed on the umpire, as there's not really a lot more chat from the South Australians, from the Vics after that either, but
line was good, it's just going over, it's hit him in the back. Tapered. But there's the seam movement that we want to extract, and generally Boland looks more at ease bowling to a left-hander, but I reckon he wouldn't mind bowling 6 balls at McSweeney here.
yeah, he's bowling back over the wicket here. Just watching some work going on down in front of us as well on the sight screens down there, trying to reattach some of the tape. This wind's causing a few issues around the ground today. Boland in again, left alone outside the line of off stump. Again, just probably a little shorter than he would have liked then, Scott Boland, and raises the bat well out of the way. As Nathan McSweeney lets that one go sailing through. 3 for 77 is the score. Still this same field for Nathan McSweeney with the leg slip in place. 2 slips and a gully.
And it's always a bit of cat and mouse with McSweeney, because we've touched on how resilient he is, how good of a lever he is, particularly on length. And so it's how much do you stay patient and keep persisting trying to drag a shot out of him, or how much do you be proactive and try and extract it yourself?
Boland did again. Good line this time, just left alone outside the off stump. But again, that patience being demonstrated then by Nathan McSweeney. Happy to leave that one well alone. Run through to the gloves of keeper Sam Harper.
More fans are coming in at the moment, which is great. There are beanies.
Yeah.
Beanies that we normally see in cricket season. And plenty of South Australian ones too. So family and friends coming through.
Just saw a few school kids come through, a big party sitting up there at the bottom of the Shane Warne stand. Not ideal day for sitting out watching cricket. Boland in again to McSweeney. Again, raises the bat out the way, lets it run through to Sam Harper. If you sat up in the 2 stands over there, you're quite well protected from the elements and a bit of the wind. It's not quite so bad up there.
I think the Terrelgan Tiger would find a way to get through, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Now, Fergus O'Neill's at square leg right now, and it's obviously there whilst you've got a leg gully and mid-on. That's the leg side field. I actually wouldn't mind investing in a bat pad, so you can have the leg slip and bat pad, and mid-on comes in on the 1. Yes, you might leak a couple of singles, but you bring another opportunity for a wicket in play.
In comes Boland, and beautiful, gets solidly behind that, pushed out on the offside.
Well bowled, but even better, well played, Nathan McSweeney. That front foot defence locked in. And that's the shot that, yes, he's played that beautifully, but all that needs is a little bit of seam back in, and it brings bat pad in more than it does leg slip from that line.
Oh, Boland back up to the top of his mark now. 1 to come in the over. I've just seen the officials down there just giving the thumbs up that they've managed to reattach the back of the cover to the sight screen down in front of us. And we're just seeing again here, as we did before, you mentioned Fergus O'Neill, last ball of the over, dropping back to a deep square leg.
Yep.
This time to Nathan McSweeney. As you say, whether it's to put in a short one or just to plant the seed. Boland comes in now, and this is driven straight back to Scott Boland, who quickly collects it. He looks to shape once again to throw down the stumps, but instead holds onto the ball, collects his jumper and his cap, and he's bowled a maiden over then. 1 for 35, Scott Boland, from the 13 overs that he has bowled today. And South Australia have navigated the first half hour of play here successfully without losing a wicket. They are 3 for 77. McSweeney's on 31. Alex Carey is on 22. And Rob Quiney is about to be joined by Mitch Turner.
ABC Sports coverage
Of Victoria versus South Australia, the Sheffield Shield Final.
on your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Great to be back at the 2007-8 T20
final between WA and Victoria. Adam Crossway has the gloves on. Let's see how the first ball plays out.
Geez, it would have been great if you were commentating back there.
Fergus O'Neill has the ball here in the Sheffield Shield Final. He's bowling to Alex Carey, who is defending. I was commentating from the hill.
When you say you were 12 at that stage, is that right?
I was a 12-year-old country lad in Perth for the final. Left in tears. Thanks to yourself, Rob Quiney, Adam Crossway, Brad Hodge.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I've left the Wacker in tears many a times playing for the Melbourne Stars. Getting to the semi-final, here we go again.
I saw a few of those as well.
Yeah. Swings and roundabouts, Mitch.
Victoria and South Australia at the moment. Good battle going on. O'Neill's around the wicket, bowling full to Alex Carey, who digs it out. Past the stumps, it's fielded by Sam Elliott. 3 for 77. It's been a good battle this morning. They've started well, the South Australians.
I think the battle is being pushed by these two batters. I think they're winning at the moment. I think Fergus O'Neill's bowled beautifully. I think Scotty Boland's just missed his mark a little bit here. And again, I think I spoke about it yesterday, that the pressure that Boland would be under to actually get a lot of wickets.
Carey waits. The ball nips back from O'Neill, a little inside edge onto the pad. No run.
Again, I probably get a little bit impatient. Sometimes you get impatient sitting up here. I think Sam Harper can come up to the stumps to Alex Carey here, and sometimes that can be risky when the ball's nipping around a little bit. But I'm just sensing that Alex Carey's, if Fergus O'Neill keeps hitting his lengths here, he's mixing Carey's feet up here, and Carey will at some stage, if he doesn't get his back of a length ball, will want to come at Fergus O'Neill.
O'Neill bowls to Carey. It's on the hip. He works in front of square for no run.
And if, for some reason, he gets hit in the pad and it's a 50-50, generally when the keeper's up, the umpire's more inclined to give that LBW decision, even though there's a bit of doubt with bounce.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Is that because they're not moving as drastically at the time of impact as well? You're not going down legs, so it doesn't look
It's
things
probably
like that?
a little bit. It's just probably what it looks like rather than what it actually is. It's like a direct hit versus a take. A direct hit usually looks out, but it's not always out.
2 slips in place. O'Neill delivers. Carey defends.
He's coming at him again here soon. He has to. He's not going to sit like this, Alex Carey. Fergus O'Neill's bowling beautifully at the moment. And I just wonder whether, obviously they'll be tempted to, or Will Sutherland to be bowling himself here next. We've only seen a little bit of Sam Elliott. I'd be tempted to throw Todd Murphy the ball next. And whether you have to do that by turning Fergus O'Neill around or bowling Todd Murphy from the top end, which would mean he's bowling with the wind.
Catcher in close on the offside. O'Neill delivers to Carey, who works it onto the leg side. Takes off for a run to Sam Elliott. Good running by Alex Carey to get one off the end of the over. 3 for 78 South Australia. McSweeney is 31. Carey retains the strike on 23. They've added, what is it now, 23 runs for the day. They resumed South Australia 3 for 55 with McSweeney on 25, Carey on 11. We got 28 overs in yesterday, and the players are about to walk on exactly 13 minutes past 1, and there was no play.
It was a funny little bit of byplay within there. The one umpire, Sam Nagoski, had his umbrella up.
Yeah.
Then Sean Craig was putting his up, and they've strutted out there, and they've asked the curators to take the covers off, and then 8 minutes later they're like, nah, put them back on.
And then when they called for them to put back on, the grounds staff were kind of like, well, you didn't want them. Do you want them? And they said, yeah, come on. Boland will continue from the Fitzroy Road end. Bowling to Carey, who's driving on the out through point. There is a sweeper out there from Campbell Callaway, so it's just the one. Moves to 24.
So, Mitch, phase
79.
one, sorry to butt in, phase 1 of this cat and mouse is ticked to the South Australians and Alex Carey in particular. So we talked about the depth of point. He was already deeper, and now they've consigned the fact that to protect a little bit more and to try and read the play of how Carey is going, we're going to put him back. So we almost think that if Scott Boland can just use the angle of over the wicket, trying to feed the slips in the keeper, but by doing that is going to bring some runs into play, then we've got to protect those runs. So already a big win for South Australia.
So no sweeper on the offside for Nathan McSweeney. A leg slip in place though. Boland delivers. It's defended confidently off the stumps by McSweeney. So the leg slip was used to McSweeney for a fair chunk of his innings yesterday, albeit not much play, but they had it in pretty much every time he was on strike. It's Marcus Harris, I think, there.
Ollie Peak.
Oh, was it Ollie Peak? Looking at the two little ones. It is Ollie
Find
Peak.
where Marcus Harris is.
He might not be on the field right now, actually. I can't see him.
Well, Mitch Perry's at mid-off where Marcus Harris normally is, so
Yeah,
probably ducked off for a quick
he's
cuppa.
right below us.
There he is.
Boland trundles in, lets the ball go. McSweeney happy to get in behind that one again. Might have just gone and had himself a toasty or something, knowing Marcus Harris.
Yes.
He's a dad now, you know, like he's getting towards the back end of his career now.
Well, he's been playing for 15 years.
Yep.
He's had an amazing career. Longevity, but he's been so successful. He spent most of it at the top of the order. Now he's probably stemmed from his time at county cricket. He's batting a lot more middle order, so
Thank you.
looks a bit foreign. Batting at 5 and 6 for the Victorians, but whatever works and bit of stability.
Just waiting to come back on as Boland delivers to McSweeney, edging through the vacant gap at third slip and down to the boundary at third for 4. So little edge for Nathan McSweeney will help his total. They move to 3 for 83 South Australia. McSweeney is 35 not out now. A genuine edge, but straight into the ground.
Yeah, he's played that well. Again, moral victories sometimes are useless, but I would take that if I was Scotty Boland. Build some momentum up. And part of McSweeney's technique, which he tends to be a little bit open with his torso, can then sometimes have his bat coming from gully inside out. So it hasn't looked like it all day, but if there is a vulnerability, sometimes that's what it can be.
Just the two slips in the gully in place and the leg slip. Boland to McSweeney, who leaves it alone outside the off stump. Interesting, the Marcus Harris going down the middle order. A few people have done it in recent times. There was a feeling amongst some in the, I guess, cricket community in Australia that there was no reward for opening the batting in Shield cricket when players were being promoted to the top level to open who weren't openers, and Nathan McSweeney was one of them. He was batting 4 for South Australia and opened in the Porter Gavaskar series.
Pose that question to the next commentator, because I think he's going to have better insight, not only from just his, general knowledge around that, but also his connection to the Australian coach.
Boland to McSweeney, just back of a length outside off, and he lets it go through to Sammy Harper as Rob Quiney steps out. 3 for 83 South Australia. Nathan McSweeney is 35, Alex Carey 24. We've had 9 overs today, just the 28 yesterday after the rain stopped play at lunch. Never got back on, but early start this morning, half an hour early. We'll get the half an hour extension at the end, and hopefully 98 overs is the target as Brad Hodge steps in alongside me. Can't wait to chat about some of these questions. Hodgie?
It's Mitch, I'm just steering away from that final in Perth you keep going back to.
No, I'll let go of it eventually.
All I know is that we got the trophy in our cabinet, not yours, which is the way it should be.
We made up for it, WA. O'Neill around the wicket, bowling to Carey, who is on the front foot, little inside edge to short mid-wicket for no run.
Yeah, it's an interesting morning, isn't it? When I was driving here, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be a batting moment or a bowling moment. I was told when I was a young boy by a coach that strange things happen when it's windy.
Yep.
I never really got to the bottom of the story as to what happened, but I'm not sure whether that was while bowlers go off their lines or batters become more aggressive or more defensive.
Carey awaits, O'Neill bowls, Carey defends.
What has happened, though, is that generally when there is a strong wind, particularly here in Melbourne, is it does dry the wicket pretty quickly, and you can see that it's looking pretty docile at the moment, quite flat, particularly Fergus O'Neill. Boland's getting still a little bit of extra bounce from the top end, and that generally does happen. You do feel that there is a little bit of a slope coming towards the pavilion here.
It's continuing around the wicket. Fergus O'Neill delivers to Alex Carey, who drives a little upish towards Marcus Harris at mid-off for no run. They have looked fairly settled, the South Australians this morning.
Well, they weathered the storm, so to speak, last night, didn't they, when the ball was moving around a little bit more than it has done today. They look settled. McSweeney's left the ball nicely outside the off stump, and he's shown his technique. Carey's been a little bit more aggressive outside the off stump, trying to pierce it through point and cover.
2 slips in place. Carey is swiping at one outside the off stump from O'Neill. It's through to Sammy Harper.
Yeah, that short shot brought about by the extra cover that's been put in by Sutherland. Trying to encourage the driving on the up, and that was a ball which was angled in towards the stumps, and he's tried to cut that one way too close to his body, and it whizzed past the inside edge.
It was neither forward nor back, really, from Alex Carey. It was just hands.
Yep.
Let's see what he does here. Carey taps the batter, waits. O'Neill bowls, and this is just defended back down towards mid-on for no run. They've got plenty of time, the South Australians. That's one thing. It's on their side. 5-day final. Big partnership, this one, between McSweeney and Carey. Jake Lehman, though, has been in terrific Shield form the last 2 seasons. He'll be in next, and another key bat for South Australia, along with Liam Scott, who'll have to play a role as well, you'd imagine. O'Neill to Carey, off the back foot, defends out to point. Thought about a quick run, but Campbell Callaway was in very, very quickly to field that one. That's the end of the over. 3 for 83 South Australia. Carey and McSweeney at the crease. McSweeney 35, Alex Carey 24. Mitch Turner here for ABC Sport alongside Victoria's all-time leading first-class runs scorer, first-class leading run scorer, Brad Hodge. Sad however way you want. I wanted to ask you about the middle order. We've got a bowling change as Will Sutherland's going to come in from the Fitzroy Road end, the captain, but talking to Bob Quiney at the end there about players like Marcus Harris dropping back to the middle order in Shield cricket.
Yep.
What are your views on that? What do you think that the move is? I know he's getting a bit older and giving youngsters an opportunity, but you weren't really being rewarded for opening the batting a lot at Shield level for the best part of the last 5 years.
Oh, look, they have been searching for David Warner's replacement and so forth, and they just haven't found someone that's stacked up. It's interesting. I was having a debate out the back yesterday around performance.
Sutherland from the Fitzroy Road end, bowling to McSweeney down the leg side. Did he get some bat on it? Big shout, no. Sounded a little patty as Harper dived away to the left and took it down low. The umpire was not interested at all.
Well, it's not a bad ploy, actually, from Sutherland to target that leg stump line. He does angle in from wide of the crease, and it is off the pad, but I'll tell you what, there's a leg gully in place. I'd actually be thinking that he needs to come a little bit more finer, because if McSweeney does get any bat on that, it's going to go into like a fly first or second slip.
Comes Sutherland again, bowling to McSweeney, who is looking to defend. He gets it out through backwards square. Elliott does the fielding. They're able to take one. McSweeney moves to 36, 3 for 84.
And just on the leg slip thing, as soon as a player, you can't actually control it once it gets sort of outside the line of your body. So you're in the hands of the gods, so to speak, if you do hit it in the middle of the bat, and you can't control it. On your topic, Mitch, yeah, look, back when I played, the benchmark was if you didn't average 50, you didn't get a game.
Yep.
And I'm not sure whether that benchmark has changed due to conditions, due to players going elsewhere and playing other leagues. But now it seems like, the average to get selected may well be in the mid-30s.
Sutherland around the wicket to Carey. Jags back in, hits him on the hip.
Yeah, there might be a few contributing factors, but you might not find a Matthew Hayden or Justin Langer anymore, where you're just going to churn out averaging 50 in Shield cricket, walk in and average 50 in Test cricket. So, and we've seen that from Constas. We've seen it even, Campbell Callaway, where, he's averaging 30 and he's getting talked about representing Australia and open the batting. So,
Sutherland will stay around the wicket, bowling to Carey, defends down towards mid-on.
But on the opening space, I think it's a very traditional area. And I don't think you can move up unless you've done it from a long history. You can certainly come down as an opening player to a middle order player, but I think it's really dangerous if you move up the top.
Yeah, well, we saw Steve Smith obviously get the chance to open. Usman Khawaja made a great career at the top in the end. He wasn't initially an opener. He was 3-4 and got pushed up and did well. Sutherland to Carey, a little inside edge onto the hip. It drops at his feet and thought about a run, but quickly says no. Obviously, Nathan McSweeney batting 3-4 for South Australia.
Yeah.
Got thrown to the absolute wolves. Fading light, Perth, bouncy pitch, Jasper Bumrah, not an opening bat, and good luck in your first test.
It's not something you dream about, Mitch, that. You just want to come in, I don't know, some beautiful sunshine in the middle of Adelaide, and she's flat.
Batting 5, 3 for 200.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I think everyone in the ground that day was just thinking, this poor guy. Sutherland to Alex Carey. Bowls. Carey looking to drive, gets a little inside edge out through backward square. They take one for their troubles. 3-4. 85 South Australia. Carey will retain the strike at the end of the Sutherland over. 25 for him. Nathan McSweeney is 36. Mitch Turner alongside Brad Hodge for ABC Sport. Yeah, that was a tough afternoon for Nathan McSweeney. A tough introduction to Test cricket. And of course they sent the night watchman out. Pat Cummins on the night. Didn't work, and then Marnus Labuschagne did come in after that, and he didn't survive either, and all of a sudden Australia were 3 down at stumps.
No, I felt for him. That was a tough moment, that actually. Whenever you run into Jasper Bumrah, you're going to struggle, aren't you, as an opening batter? You're going to be under pressure. So, look, there is, and that's the whole point. There is no easy seat when you're opening the batting. You face the best premier fast bowler of any country with a brand new ball.
Sam Elliott into the attack, around the wicket to Alex Carey, drops it on the leg side, takes off for a quick single. To mid-on, moves to 26, 3 for 86.
Good cricket. Yeah, it's a relentless sort of moment. I batted at number 3 and 4 for most of my career, and I had one shot at trying to move up the order. And failed miserably. It was a game at the MCG on a real thatchy wicket. It was a disaster, actually. And
was that your
that was my
decision?
Ambition.
You wanted to push up?
It was a chat with Greg Shippard to see that, look, I can see an opening to open the batting for Australia. It was a real small opening, and we sort of thought, well, look, let's give it a shot. Victoria were going pretty well at that time and had a strong middle order.
Leg slip still in place. McSweeney faces and pitched up by Elliott. He drives through the covers. Doesn't get all of it, but enough to take a couple of runs. Moves to 38, Nathan McSweeney, 3 for 88. It's looking fairly comfortable out there at the moment.
And I can't remember where the opening was, or look, it was just something I tried because the door wasn't opening for where I was, and I could see a little opening. I was in good form.
Are we talking the 08 maybe?
No,
time,
as well.
the end of Langer Hayden, or
it must
around
have been
that
somewhere
transition
around
period?
there. Yes.
2 slips, a gully, leg slip. Elliott bowls to McSweeney, leaves alone outside the off stump. Around that, there's a bit of an era. Phil Jakes came through for a little bit.
It might have even been before that.
Even
before I even played. It might have been around 2004, maybe 2003. Anyway, I opened the batting against WA, your team. And Matthew Innes was playing for WA at that
Matty
time.
Innes,
And to be honest, for about 10 balls, I couldn't lay stick on him and end up nicking a couple to the keeper and realised that it's not for me.
Elliott bowling to McSweeney, leaves it alone again. I mean, some guys like getting out there straight away. They don't want to wait. Some guys like to have a bit of a look and just let the game settle in. It's preference for some and it's technique for others.
Yeah, which was my preference. My preference was to have a look at the game, and even if it was for one ball, I could get a sense and a feel of what that day was going to look like, and was it going to swing, was it going to seam, was it going to bounce? So even if it was for one ball, and you walk out at 1 for none, everyone goes, well, it's the same. Well, it's not the same.
A little different. Elliott to McSweeney, works it down behind square, down a fine leg for a single where Boland does the fielding. He moves to 39, Nathan McSweeney.
And I'll elaborate a little bit more as to why. Like, I was traditionally someone that used to go into the dressing room, have a shower, get all their prep right, and then, you know, make their way up into the viewing room. Well, you don't have that luxury when you're an opening batter, particularly when you're fielding.
Yeah, you run.
And you're all out, and then you run in, and it's pure chaos before you walk out onto the field. I don't know, some people, as you mentioned, love that and love the vibe.
Elliott around the wicket to Carey, who defends.
And I think that's why it's a specialist place.
Yeah.
It really is a special talent.
So, end of the over. South Australia are 3 for 89. McSweeney is on 39. Alex Carey is on 26. You can get involved if you want. 0467 920 222. Beansy has texted in again from Bradford and said, "Hey Mitch, after the Ronchi Crossway incident you keep banging on about, did you boo? Of course you did. You're a West Australian. Go Vicks." I'm not sure I booed, but I reckon I gave some feedback. To which Bobby Quiney has told me, what about the umpire? We gave him feedback too, at square leg.
Yeah.
Sutherland to McSweeney. It jags back and he leaves it, hit on the pad. Just a little high. Good delivery from Will Sutherland. Jag back in at Nathan McSweeney, had shoulders and arms.
Yeah, first time we've seen a little bit of movement off the seam. That's jagged back about a good 10 centimetres, that. And McSweeney's tried to leave it on length. And it's cannoned into his thigh guard. Too high from Sutherland, but that'll put some doubt in McSweeney's mind as to whether he wants to play, whether he wants to let go. We have to dig the archives up. We need to see some visual content.
I had a bit of a look yesterday. There's just a stall in play as Will Sutherland was running in. Alex Carey saw a seagull about a foot from the pitch and decided to stop it. No, I had a look. I couldn't find it. All I can find is Aiden Blizzard's 6,
right,
which is fair enough, as we spoke about yesterday, biggest 6 I've ever seen.
Would have been televised somewhere on some network.
I've seen it come up on Fox before,
right,
like an old replay. And I can still see the replay in my head of the incident. Maybe I've got my own memory. Sutherland bowling to McSweeney, who is defending. So maybe I've got a warped view. Crossy and I remember it very differently from different perspectives.
Do you know that sitting on the hill in Perth at the Wacker, it's about 200 metres out to the centre?
I did say it's about as far away as you can get from a cricket pitch.
Unless you've got eyes like Superman, you know? Like I was probably...
And it bounced 3 metres in front of him.
Hey?
It bounced 3 metres in front of him.
I reckon it was 5, actually.
Like it was...
Bounced 5 metres. It
wasn't even a half volley. It was like a short ball. Like a little bit of break in... just a bit of a stop from Nathan McSweeney. There's a few seagulls around today, being Melbourne.
Look, for all those Western Australians, he wouldn't have got past Dirk Nanner's next 5
That's
deliveries
true.
anyway.
He was
red hot. Yep.
Leg slip in play. Sutherland bowls. McSweeney is beaten outside the off stump. Nice little over here from Will Sutherland, the captain.
Yeah, that play and miss there is on the back of the ball. It seemed back into him. It caused a little bit of doubt. So nice delivery. It just straightened down the line. Looked to angle in again and seam back into McSweeney. And that's his skill, Sutherland. Just a fraction short, though. Just to get the outside edge, just needs to be another 1.5 foot pitched up on McSweeney. But he's digging in well here, McSweeney. He's batting well.
The captain bowling down breeze. Sutherland to McSweeney and lets that one go outside the off stump. So it's a little captain-to-captain battle right now and a big moment in the game. Another wicket. South Australia being a bit of trouble. Par today, like you'd... Given they were 3 for 55 sent in, you want to get at least 230, 240 minimum, you'd imagine. Like, as you said yesterday, I think you want 300 in red ball game.
300, but 3 down, you're going to take 260 plus, aren't you, if you can.
Just want to keep themselves in the game, South Australia. They've got a pretty good bowling lineup as well. McSweeney awaits. Sutherland's outside the off stump. Again, no interest on this occasion from Nathan McSweeney.
Yeah, it's the type of wicket where you can lose back-to-back wickets, I'm sure. A new player coming in, they'll find it difficult. And once you get settled, you look quite comfortable. Carey looks comfortable. McSweeney still not quite sure about driving on the up outside the off stump. All we've seen from him is a few works off the pads and a couple of pull shots. Nothing through the offside so far in his innings of 39. He's left the ball just on length and line outside the off stump. He's very deep in his crease.
Battle loft, waits. Again, leaves a good length ball outside the off stump from Will Sutherland. That'll end the over. 3 for 89 still, I believe. I'll get the scorecard back up. 3 for 89 after 41 overs now. McSweeney, Carey still at the crease. McSweeney, the captain's 39. Carey is on 26. Scott Boland's coming off for a little rest or had a lot of issues with the spikes yesterday, trying to get the footwear right on this pitch. There's a couple of players that just getting a little bit of the pitch stuck in the spikes. Elliott around the wicket from the broadcast end, bowling to Carey, just short of a length outside off, and tried to push it past cover to no success.
Yeah, there's a bit of rain yesterday, that's for sure, in Melbourne. When I left it.
There's a text in here, actually.
Yep.
That's from Tim that says, loving the call while working as a postie in South Australia. Can we get an update on what we expect from the weather today and for the next few days?
Well, Tim generally comes from across... he should know. He should give us an update on what's actually flowed through from South Australia.
Elliott to Carey, defends again onto the leg side for a dot ball.
But, Mitch, I've been watching Jane Bunn on religiously on Channel 7 News on the weeknights, and the actual cloud is coming up from basically Tasmania.
Which I've been told is a bit... some of the direction of where the weather has been coming from, I've been told as a non-local, is a bit unusual.
It's why we've got that Antarctic-like wind.
Yeah, it's cold.
To Tim, I believe, the postman.
Yep. Elliott to Carey, looking to slash through the offside. Can't beat the fielder coming across from mid-off.
So the forecast was, Tim, from Jane Bunn, the meteorologist at the 7 Network, said that there is going to be morning showers, which was going to last till 11 a.m. So we're not far away from that passing. We've got 4 minutes to see if there's some showers to lob. And then it was going to be pretty much clear for the rest of the day with the odd shower potentially.
Yeah, there's a few dark clouds. Not too bad, though. Elliott's continuing to Carey, who's driving. Can't beat the fielder at cover. There's a few little dark clouds around, but it's not as ominous as yesterday.
No.
I think I've deleted my weather app now. I just defer to Adam Crossway, who told us yesterday rain will come about 1:30, stick around for 20 minutes and we'll be good. It came at 1:15 and didn't go away till 5 o'clock this morning. So the 20 minutes kind of lasted a fair while. But he's my weatherman now.
Yep.
Carey awaits. Elliott bowls. He's chopped on. Elliott gets the breakthrough. It's a big, big wicket. Alex Carey looking to drive through the offside. Thick inside edge back onto the stumps. And South Australia lose their 4th wicket. They are 4 for 89. And Alex Carey, the danger man, he is on his way in this final for 26.
Good length there from Elliott. The ball before was just marginally pitched up a little bit further, and Carey smoked it to cover for no run. And this one was just fraction back of a length from Elliott. Pulled his length back, and Carey trying to drive on the up. Dangerous on a wicket with a little bit of nibble. Doesn't get it in the middle of the bat. Takes the inside edge and cannons onto the stumps. That's a big wicket from Elliott. He's been good since being introduced into the attack.
I might just be checking the front foot. The umpire on the boundary has told Alex Carey just to stop for a moment. So new batter Jake Lehman's already out in the middle. But there's a brief pause.
Tell you what, you're praying, aren't you, if you're South Australian, that there's an marginally overstepped foot here from Elliott. But look, he's a long way off the pitch.
So Alex Carey, it's taking a little bit of time, but they must be checking the front foot. It's the only thing they could be checking here, because I'll tell you now the dismissal was out. It hit the stumps. Look at the replay. Oh, he's well behind. If that's what they're checking, he is well behind. And there you go. Alex Carey has been released by the umpire, and he is off back to the sheds. Massive wicket. And the breakthrough for the Victorians. Jake Lehman heads out to the middle.
So, Mitch, I've got a question for you. I don't know this answer.
Yep.
Do they check every dismissal then? Is that what happens?
They must, because
that's miles
there's
behind.
no way, unless the umpire is not looking at the front foot at all. That was not even close. Half his foot landed behind the line. So I might ask if they check every single dismissal, but certainly made Alex Carey wait for a while.
Yeah.
We could have seen that from here on our angle, I reckon, if we were actually paying attention to the front foot.
Yeah, this is the play right here. Lehman, I think, will be a thorn in Victoria's side if you can get past the first 20 minutes of this spell from Elliott and Sutherland. He's a good player, particularly square outside the off stump. Good driver.
It's the battle of the sons of the guns out in the middle right now. Sammy Elliott,
yes,
son of Matthew. Jake Lehman, son of Darren. both Sheffield Shield winners.
Yeah, certainly some skillful left-handers there.
So 2 slips, Gully in place. Elliott will stay around the wicket. Bowling to the new batter in Lehman. It's on the hip and he works it away behind square nicely for the first ball to get off the mark immediately, which is always good to see for a batsman. 4 for 90, South Australia.
Yeah, he's got the long sleeve Guernsey on too, Jake. So he would have been particularly cold. It's not a great place to sit there and view the game, to be honest, in conditions like this, just down on the sideline of the Junction Oval. Most of the players have got towels around them. They've got their multiple jumpers on, basically freezing their backsides off, to be honest. And not easy to go out there and get your body warmed up straight away in the heat of battle. So Jake's gone for the full long sleeve jumper.
Well, there's another Jake down there in Jake Fraser McGurk, Lloyd Pope, a couple of the non-playing South Australians are in the squad and they've got blankets on, wrapped all around them.
Yep.
Lloyd Pope certainly very rugged up down there.
Yeah, had a good chat to his so-called personal coach last night, Shannon Young, Jake Fraser McGurk's personal coach, and we're talking about his status and where he's at and what his plans are.
Sutherland begins a new over around the wicket and Lehman just dabs it onto the leg side for no runs. There's 3 slips in place and a gully for Jake Lehman here now.
Yeah, well, the reason they've come around the wicket, try and tie Jake up, he's very good anything just outside the line of the stumps to carve through cover, and his cut shot's dynamic. So similar to Alex Carey, they're just trying to tie that up and see if I can get one to seam back in towards the stumps or hold its line and feed those 3 slips in play in a gully.
Chasing the double breakthrough, Victoria. Sutherland, the captain, around the wicket, defended off the stumps by Jake Lehman. They'll be liking to get used. They want to get used to these conditions. A fair few of these boys will be off to the Northern Hemisphere very shortly. Jake Lehman, I think he's obviously now a non-local Australian player. He's playing in the county championship as a local player. Rules him ineligible for Australian selection, which I think may have passed him now anyway, given his age. Nathan McSweeney's off to Northants with Jake's dad, the coach. Sutherland to Lehman, steps across, cuts well through backward point, down towards the boundary. And he'll get 4 runs for it. Nice shot by Jakey Lehman. He'll move to 5, his first boundary. 4 for 94, South Australia. That's the width you were saying he's looking for.
Yeah, it's up-ish. It is up-ish, but that's his area. Catchable height going through the gully region. But yeah, look, that's a good positive start there from Lehman. It's there to hit. It's in his zone. And he's pumped a short and wide one to the boundary. That'll just take a little bit of pressure off the left-hander.
So 2025 Domestic Player of the Year for Jake Lehman, and he's no longer, technically a local Aussie player. Same award his dad won back in the day as well. They've both won that award. Change
of field here, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not sure why they've done this, because they've put deep point back out on the fence. And, well, the ball's just gone through at waist height. I'd be more inclined to put 2 gullies in there at 4 for 90.
And you want to see that, don't you? You want to see him coming out and playing a shot like that early.
Yeah, definitely.
You're in the game.
I mean, it's his strength, no doubt about it, but it's gone at a catching height.
So fine leg, deep backward point out. Sutherland is around the wicket, bowling to Lehman, who again cuts, and this one is out to the sweeper. That saves a boundary. They take 1 for it. Lehman moves to 6, 4 for 95.
It's just a comfortable release of pressure. That shot there needs to be fielded by a backward point, and anyway,
you'd almost go more aggressive, wouldn't you, and go try to beat the gap if you want to play it.
Absolutely right now. And they've put an extra cover in, which we've hardly seen a cover drive being played apart from Alex Carey through this whole innings.
Leg slip is still in place for Nathan McSweeney. Sutherland bowls, it's on the pads and just defends it down near his feet. I mean, as a new bat, Hodgie, when you come in and you play a shot like that, get a boundary, and they immediately change the whole field to go out there, does it make you feel okay? You're like, well, I'm already manipulating the field, first ball, and they're changing stuff.
Mindset feels like you're well on top.
He's
So-
right across, isn't he?
Yeah,
like
he's
he's
right
exposing leg stump as he plays that shot.
Yeah, it's similar to what his dad did, actually. It's exactly the same sort of technique, which he's adopted. And, well, wouldn't you? It worked well for him. And his son has actually put together a nice portfolio, actually, of, a good career in the last sort of, 5 to 6 years.
He's now got 15 Sheffield Shield hundreds. He's got 2 this year, averaging 40, Jake Lehmann. Sutherland bowls, McSweeney leaves it alone. I've got a nice stat for you to leave you with as well as I get ready to hand over to Ned Hall. Pete Hanscom, 688 runs, leading run scorer this year.
Yep.
That's the lowest leading run scorer in Sheffield Shield cricket in 53 years. It's the last time someone had a leading total that low. So that's where we're at. I'll leave you with that one, Hodge, as I hand over to Ned Hall.
This is cricket on ABC Sport.
Victoria versus South Australia. The Sheffield Shield Final.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Well, you were saying yesterday, Hodge, you'd have been disappointed to only get 688 runs this season. As Sam Elliott comes running in now, he's bowling around the wicket again to Jake Lehmann. He moves his feet, comes in towards the ball and pulls that one away through square leg and through a flock of seagulls over there. It doesn't quite reach it out the way to the rope, and so they get back and run a couple there.
Yeah, it's need to get the ball pitched up to Lehmann. You can see he's deep in his crease. He's crabbing across towards off stump, and anything short and wide, he'll punish square of the wicket on the offside or onside. So they need to encourage the drive, similar to what they did to Carey. Get the ball pitched up, see if there's any movement off the surface.
Elliott, get around the wicket, takes a little step forward, a little push at that one, and a very meek appeal from Sam Elliott back towards the umpire. Looking to use the feet all the time, Lehmann, just to keep busy out there and make Sam Elliott change his lines a little bit, lines and lengths.
Yeah, on that discussion of aggregate runs, look, when I played, the benchmark was 1,000 runs. It was a standard benchmark that if you didn't get somewhere around that target in all your 10 games, then you were never going to get selected or not even get looked at.
Elliott in again to Lehmann. He rocks back and punches this away beautifully. Just runs it out towards deep point. They just go through and pick up a single.
Yeah, it's released a little bit of pressure here, the Victorians, with that deep point in play to Lehmann. He looks comfortable there, no doubt. But, no, you need to keep the scoreboard pressure on for the moment. They've just got another breakthrough. And opportunity for back-to-back. Yeah, I think we were, as I said, I was talking to Shannon Young, particularly on this aspect as well. And we were saying, well, has the benchmark changed? Because now other people have opportunities to go and play elsewhere. So, for me or for others.
As Elliott in to McSweeney, just pushes this out on the offside, dot ball.
There was only one simple pathway. And if you didn't make that pathway, then that was it. So you had no choice but to be at the top of the tree. Whereas now you don't need to be at the top of the tree. You can go and play in other leagues and things like that. Have conditions played into it? Is it bowler friendly too much? I'm not sure. There's a number of topics to cover off. But yeah, if you're an opening bat or you top order bat trying to break into the Australian side, this 500 runs just doesn't cut it.
Elliott in again. This one's just worked away on the leg side. They'll get through and pick up a single. Move on to 4 for 99. Well, a lot's been made of the last couple of summers. Obviously, Nathan McSweeney got through for the Indian series. It seems like there's a bat off just to select who's going to get the job of opening the batting, and obviously lasted for the, well, not the full season even then. And then obviously this year, Jake Weatherald got the gig, but then we ended up having Travis Head coming in as the opening batter by accident.
Well, no one actually dominated that bat off, did it? It was great to see a good old-fashioned bat off.
Yeah.
And no one nailed it, which goes to say, well, did they fail on the pressure sense? Because it's a pressure moment. If you nail it, you'll play Test cricket. If you don't, then you're back in the queue. I thought they failed on the pressure test, actually.
Elliott in around the wicket, just gets behind that, pushed back up to the bowler by Lehmann.
Which means that it's unlikely if you move to that test arena that you're going to be ready mentally to succeed under extreme pressure. and deliver on what you need to.
I'll just actually jump in. There's a text here from 0467920222. Carol in Ballarat saying, I think Sweeney was so unlucky given he was facing Bumrah and in a losing Australian team, and he'd been in a winning team, other batsmen performing, he might have been given another chance. And Carol said she was happy to have seen a great session in person yesterday, even though it was only the one session. But yeah, that was the tricky thing. And I was chatting to people yesterday about the fact that McSweeney, from obviously playing the middle order for South Australia, and he jumps up into the Test team and he faces Jasprit Bumrah, who was bowling at the very top of his game in that series against Australia. So it wasn't the easiest introduction to step up in that level of quality and pressure, as you're saying, as Sutherland begins the over from the Fitzroy Street end, just pushed down by McSweeney, a dot ball.
Yeah, just a fraction short again from Sutherland. It's happened to my good friend Aaron Finch. Similar scenario, similar story. Played in the middle order, opportunity came up, he was making a lot of one-day runs, moved up to open the batting, ran into India and Jasprit Bumrah, and clearly his technique in that moment didn't stack up, and you fail against the best bowler in the world. But that's the thing in Test match cricket, you don't get to choose who your opponent is when you actually walk into the team. Is it any easier facing Murali Dhuran in Sri Lanka or Shane Warne at the MCG? Like, every team's got their little...
Sutherland in, just pushed away. Mr. McSweeney.
Every team's got someone that's, you're gonna struggle against. South Africa, you could pick, Nokia, who bowls 150. Yeah, there's just multiple challenges. But to Carolyn's point, I wouldn't sleep either if I had to run into Jasprit Bumrah and I was opening the batting. That's a task which, if you average 30, just feels a little bit too steep. Yeah, to be honest.
Big jump up for McSweeney, and certainly Seagulls are causing a fair few issues. Another one then just running across in front of Will Sutherland as he was preparing to start running in. As he has to chase it away, spin on his heel, go back up towards the top of his mark.
Yep.
4 for 99, South Australia. McSweeney is on 40. Lehman is on a runner ball 9. And in comes Sutherland. This one jags back into the right-hander.
Yeah, well, I can go and heckle the coach. The Australian cricket coach, Andrew McDonald, just came in and smacked me in the ribs.
Yeah, I did hear the baritone voice of Andrew McDonald wandering through in the background. One-time ABC cricket commentator as well.
He had the perfect voice for the ABC. Yeah. He just fitted in like a treat, didn't he? It was a lovely tone.
Didn't do badly going down the other path, though, into coaching. It's gone okay there.
Well, look, I can talk all day about him, about how he's just become a absorber of all information about coaching. It's one thing that's...
Sutherland in, it's punched away off the back foot, finds the gap through the covers. It's not going to make it out to the rope. Fergus O'Neill chases it down. They get back for a couple.
First time we've seen McSweeney sort of play an aggressive shot outside the off stump. That one again just short of a length from Sutherland, too short.
Brings up the 100 runs for South Australia. So 4 for 100. It's in the 45th over of the innings.
It's been good this from McSweeney. He's just weathered the storm. Anything outside the off stump, he's just been comfortable to let go. Looks beautifully solid in defence on the back foot. As deep square leg goes out. We haven't seen too many bounces actually at all. We haven't seen someone challenge him upstairs. He's happy to play the hook and pull shot.
Sutherland coming in from the Fitzroy Street end. He beats the outside edge. That's a great line from Sutherland. Just has him pushing forward then McSweeney. The ball goes past the edge of the bat.
And the length too as well, Ned. That's the critical aspect there. It's been too short, Sutherland. And that one pitched up and caught McSweeney in two minds. Does he play forward, play back? And he looked to play forward and was reluctant and raced past the outside edge. Good bowling.
Another SMS in here from Luke in that's Waikerie in Riverland, South Australia. Loving the call. Thank you, ABC. Go South Australia. So there's a lot of South Australians, I think, tuning in, hoping that their side can go back-to-back and retain the Shield title that they won last year, having broken that long, barren spell of being able to win the Sheffield Shield title. Obviously, the Victorians had a far more profitable few years. I think 6 titles in 11 years that they have managed to win, and making a couple of finals earlier on this decade over in WA as Sutherland comes in and McSweeney gets back behind that, plays it back up towards the bowler. Dot ball to round off the over. 4 for 101. McSweeney on 42 and Lehman still there on 9.
Yeah, it's an intriguing battle, isn't it? That I think you'd be pleased, whoever's in the Riverland, that South Australia have looked good today, actually, apart from the loss of Alex Carey. Batting actually looks comfortable enough.
Yeah.
There's a couple of balls that have seamed around, beat the outside edge, but all in all, conditions, if the sun was actually out, you'd think that this is a pretty flat wicket.
Yeah. It's not been quite as much to the bowlers as we might have expected. It's fairly thick cloud covering overhead at the moment as Elliott comes in again around the wicket. Jake Lehmann just leaves that one alone, watches it go past him.
And a seagull got in the way as well. Like, there was a seagull sort of sitting between Lehmann and Sam Harper, and the ball basically shot over the top of the seagull, and Sam was distracted there, and then the seagull just flew off. Lucky. So, a few things for the players to contend with today. That's a good line, this, from Elliott, but also more so the length. That was pitched up, full of a length, about 2 metres inside front of the stumps.
Comes around the wicket again, pushed back to the bowler by Lehmann.
Yeah, too short. Very comfortable that for Jake Lehmann, just to sit there. His technique, he hangs back on the crease. Anything short of a length, he just plays pretty comfortably. Got to encourage the drive.
Another message in, by the way, from the Traralgon Tiger, who just mentions Darren Lehmann, Victorian Sheffield Shield winner from 1990-91.
Yes, very true.
Jake was born in Melbourne during the time that his dad was playing for Victoria, before returning back to South Australia. And his roots, as this is just pushed away by Lehmann, just a nice shot square on the offside through a gap, and they just drop through and pick up a single.
Yeah, it was a pretty good side, that one that Victoria had, led by Simon O'Donnell. Lehmann, who else? There was Jamie Siddons as well, who went back over to South Australia after that final. And truth be told, that departure of Siddons opened up the door for me to get a game. So thanks, Jamie. I was happy that you won a Shield and moved over to South Australia and opened the door. Appreciate that. Good players, good team. Rifle, Fleming.
There's some good names
Dottermaid, Hughes, yep.
Elliott back over the wicket to McSweeney. This one drifting in towards the hip of the right-hander. He just turns it away. In fact, they'll get back for a couple there. Two men right back on that boundary. It's a bit of a chase in from the rope to retrieve the ball. So they run two. And McSweeney's edging his way towards what would be a very valuable half-century here.
Yeah, Todd Murphy just slimmering up, doing a couple of arm movements that I think he's sort of suggesting that skipper, I'm ready if need be. And
I'm just waiting. I think they're about to take a drink at the end of this innings. As this over, I should say, as that one jags back into McSweeney, bounces away off his thigh pad. I was noticing, by the way, you were talking about Jake Lehmann down there with the extra jumper on, really rugged up. So the two dugouts that are just down in front of us down here, the Victoria one's got the top all the way over the back of it. The South Australian's just got it just on the top. The rest of it's completely open at the back. So the wind will be whistling through that little dugout. I don't think it's covered the back of it.
Little home ground advantages, aren't they, now?
Yeah. As Elliott's in, this one's pitched up and it drives off the inside edge into his pads and drops down in front of him. And that is the end of the over from Sam Elliott. The score is 4 for 104. McSweeney on 44. Lehmann is on 10. And the players will have a little break now for a drink. A couple of players in the Vic side, Todd Murphy and Ollie Peake. In fact, quite a lot of the players making a run off the field here to get back into the sheds for a brief break. Even the umpires making their way off the field at the end of that over.
I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. Maybe they've overhydrated overnight, and it's not hot enough to take the moisture out of the body.
It's funny to see like 7 players all go off in one go, and an umpire make their way off the field of play, but they've all raced back into the dressing rooms at the end.
Yeah, you don't often see an umpire actually leave the field too often at all.
That's very strange.
Very strange.
The ground stuff out there just remarking some lines on the pitch. I don't know if you saw comments as well overnight from Pat Cummins, which was interesting, about the making that comment about the clash between playing in some of the franchise cricket and the Test side. And obviously, it really smacked home to me this giant summer of Australian cricket that's coming up from August, that they've got Test matches coming up against Bangladesh, when there's clashes with playing in the 100, where he said obviously his wife coming from North Yorkshire, he wouldn't mind playing over there at some stage in that competition. But it's very hard to do now, particularly when you could get a lot of cash for playing in these big franchise events and all that. You come back and play Test cricket against Bangladesh back in your own country.
Such an interesting debate, isn't it, Ned? Look, I don't know the answer. I don't know. The landscape of cricket has changed dramatically. Seen some sales of Indian franchises which have just been through the roof.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there. Look, to break things down, the Australian cricketers, they get paid well.
Yeah.
More so than most other countries. But they're also the best in the world. So there is always an opportunity or a lure to go and play in other countries. So look, to be honest, if I'm sitting in that seat, you're probably going to go to where the money's at. That's simple as that, unfortunately. It's hard to steer away. Like any person in any real job,
yeah,
they try and go up the chain, and generally as you move up the chain, there's a financial benefit to it.
Yeah.
So if you are the best in the world, there has to be some form of financial reward to that. And our players, they're unreal. So it's hard to knock back any sort of... And the remuneration they get in these leagues is big. It's significant.
Well, the way he puts it is it's the Business of Sport podcast he was talking to. And Pat Cummins saying some of our guys are saying no to £500,000 for 20 days' work to go and play 2 Test matches against Bangladesh. So in that sense as well, if you're on the fringes of the side, you want to make that decision, which way you want to go down. It's a lot of money to turn down.
It's an extraordinary amount of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for you as you're basically the CEO of your brand, I suppose.
Yeah.
And you have to make an executive decision on what's best for you. That's a personal choice.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd love to be in that position to be able to choose to make $500,000 for 20 days.
I think a lot of people would, to be honest. It's not a bad coin there, and obviously the 100 and particularly the women's 100 as well now, getting some players in there too. Thanks to Hodge, who's going to step out for a second. And Kelly Applebee about to come in as play's about to get underway here. Everyone's made it back out onto the field of play, including the umpires and a couple of the other players who dashed off the field when it was the drinks break. And it is Sutherland coming in around the wicket to Jake Lehman, who steps across a little and gets back on ball and pushes it back up to the bowler. And say hello to Kelly Applebee for the first time in the match. So thanks for coming in here today, Kel.
Happy to come off the bench after listening to the Bobby and Hodgie stories sitting at the back there. Very entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously, this vacancy opening up, Adam Crosswaite through to a club cricket final that he's playing in over the weekend for the St Kilda Cricket Club, with a few of the other Victorian players who missed out on selection here as well today. Blake McDonald, Harry Dixon, part of that team, although they are without Todd Murphy and Marcus Harris for the final, as this one's pitched up again by Sutherland, played back to the bowler by Lehman.
I mean, it's great to see Crossy still playing there and up at, obviously at the highest level in Premier Cricket as well. And we know that, Bobby connected to the same club in St Kilda Cricket Club. They both love that team, and it's fantastic to see that Crossy's in and around it.
Since we bumped into Crossy actually on the way out of the ground after one of the WBBL matches, as he was on his way for a net session in here. So they're very familiar with the setup out here at Junction Oval. Spent a lot of time playing here. There's the wind whistling across the oval still now. Sutherland comes in. It's clipped back, and that's a great catch in the gully. A little short, a little wide. Jake Lehman rocked back and tried to cut the ball away, but he drives it straight into the hands of Dylan Brasher at gully, and he is dismissed for 10. And that is a big wicket for Victoria, just off the back of the drinks break. And Jake Lehman trying to be aggressive, trying to take on the shot, and finding the fielder straight away. He departs for 10.
That's an outstanding catch there. And Hodgie spoke about just before how important that position is there as well. They had one out on the boundary, but he was talking about make sure that they're in that catching position to ensure that they put Lehman under pressure as well, and that's exactly what's happened on this occasion. The Vicks will be so pleased to see the back of Lehman.
Yeah, he looked really... Oh, he's just, again, they're just having a little weight on the edge. And again, just seeing it on the monitor, it's half his foot is behind the line. So Jake Lehman is still standing on the edge of the rope, I think, just waiting to get the all clear. There was no issues with that whatsoever. And he's now eventually just walked around the advertising hoardings and makes his way off now into the dressing rooms. The fourth official is still standing down there just waiting to see. Well, they just get the all clear to say that he is definitely out, but there was no questions at all about that.
He'd be disappointed with that. Just a little bit too close to his body there. We know that it's such a strength of his game. Obviously saw that there was an opportunity for the sweeper out there, something just to be able to get off strike, but Brashwood, fantastic catch there. I was just reading about Liam Scott coming in as well. Next batter to come in here, he was the Shield Player of the Season.
Yeah.
He's only 25 years of age as well. It's such an exciting time for him in his career, but I tell you what, he's got his work cut out for him here.
Yeah, this is a big challenge for him. Yeah, I was the same with funny if I was looking at how he'd gone this year, and obviously I'd seen a bit of him playing in the white ball cricket as well, but he scored 496 runs at 41. He scored just shy of a 150, scored 147 in the Shield this year. He's also picked up 23 wickets, so solid all-rounder as Sutherland comes in, and solid technique there to push it out on the offside. So yeah, all round, he's had a terrific season. At the age of 25, he's really stepped up this year for South Australia. Yeah,
he has indeed, and you know, with the likes of Carey and Lehman gone now, they're really going to hope that he can continue that form into this game as well. He looks like he's pretty well composed out there. I know we've only seen him face one delivery, but no doubt there'll be some nerves in his tummy as well, coming out here, these big moments in these games.
Yeah, this is a very big moment with South Australia now 5 for 104. Sutherland coming in over the wicket from the Fitzroy Street end. Wind at his back, it's down the leg side, drifts down there. Sam Harper gets across and gets his hands on that one. 3 slips and a gully in place for the new batter coming out into the middle.
Yeah, I like there's a lot of pressure in there as well. They'll know that it's really important to be able to jump on it, and they'll know this ground really well as well. And I've mentioned this before, but the Junction Oval is so hard to get into the groove.
Yeah.
The longer you're out there, it actually becomes a lot easier. We can see that with McSweeney as well. He seems like he's reasonably comfortable. The longer Carey was out there, he looked like he was really comfortable as well. So the first kind of 20 runs here at the Junction Oval are so hard.
Yeah. Well, Sutherland comes into Scott. This one's just worked away on the onside. Just dot ball. They don't decide to take a run. We often see that when we come here, even for white ball cricket, people say it's a good batting pitch here, but it often seems hard for batters to get in and get started on this pitch. It never quite plays as true as a lot of people expect it to.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's my experience of playing here as well, is that it's actually, once you get the read of the pitch, it becomes a lot easier, and can actually be a very, very good batting wicket. The other thing to add into it as well is the wind. I think it just really changes your mindset and your decision making at times as well. So a couple of really difficult things to work through here for Scott early on.
So end of that over, 5 for 104. McSweeney, the set batter on 44. And Scott yet to get off the mark as Elliott comes in over the wicket to the right-hander, punched away beautifully through the covers. That's a good old chase then for Ollie Peake to run that ball down. He slides in, collects the ball, and they do get back for a second. But McSweeney's probably a case in point as well, that he has looked reasonably comfortable out there. He's maybe been beaten by 1 or 2, but now he seems to have got the measure of the pitch here, and he hasn't been too badly troubled.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that I've noticed, just kind of sitting back and watching the first kind of hour of play, is that when Carey was out there, he was really focused on trying to get the singles and rotating the strike. Yeah. Left-right hand combination as well, and that's kind of died down a little bit now.
Elliott comes in at this one, pushed away by McSweeney. There's a dot ball there. Another SMS in here on 046792022. Pete from Adelaide, but currently in the Shane Warne stand here at the Oval. So just sit over there, where it's away from us. Hello, Pete. Loving the old school side of the Seagulls on the field. Not sure the players are loving it though, which is true actually. They've caused a few issues so far today. Wandering a bit too close to the pitch and getting in the eye line of the batters. Not sure how Steve Smith would go with this. He seems to get distracted by an awful lot of stuff as Elliott comes in, pushed out on the offside, and maybe a shy at the stumps here. There is a shy at the stumps, and it's 4 overthrows. As Campbell Kellaway came racing in for that, had a throw, and Marcus Harris couldn't get round in behind that and get near to the ball.
And that overthrow actually just brought 50 runs up for McSweeney as well. It was a quick run, a quick single there. Throw at the stumps. Unfortunately, no one there to get the back up and over the boundary for 5 runs.
5 runs in the end for Nathan McSweeney. Almost a bit embarrassed then to be raising his bat aloft, knowing that was bringing up his half century. He was running to the danger end, then running to the bowler's end, and I think that's why Kellaway decided to have a shy at the stumps. But as you say, nobody really in there to back up, and he missed the stumps by a fair bit as well.
I think it's worth a shot, to be honest with you. McSweeney, he's the batter that's in.
5 for 111 now as Elliott in. This one's driven away along the floor up to mid-on.
That's really well bowled there. Just a little bit of movement coming into the right-hander. He's obviously early on as well. It's quite full. Lots of pressure here, as you mentioned. 5 for 111. I spoke to Bobby Quiney before the game and I said, what do you reckon the chances are here? What do you think SA will be really happy with? And he said, well, they potentially could be out for 150, but I think they'd be hoping for something more like 220.
Might be a way off at the moment. 5 for 111 as Elliott comes in to Scott. It cannons away, it's in the air, it's caught in the gully, but I don't think the umpire is interested in giving that out. It was a fairly half-hearted appeal, it's got to be said, from the Victorians as it cannoned away, I think, off the pads of Liam Scott.
It was indeed. Again, that delivery just a bit of a short of a length there. We're just watching a replay here right now. Yeah, just off the thigh pad there.
It wasn't the most convincing appeal. It was a good effort from Brasher. Dive forward from the gully region again, having taken that great take to remove Jake Lehman and the previous over as Elliott comes into Scott now. Bit of width on this, tries to push it up towards mid-off. Doesn't connect with it brilliantly. Bobbles its way up there, and that is indeed the end of the over. So Nathan McSweeney on to 51. Liam Scott yet to get off the mark. South Australia are 5 for 111. We're about an hour away from lunch here on day 2 of the Sheffield Shield Final, and Kelly Applebee is about to be joined by Mitch Turner.
ABC sports coverage of Victoria versus South Australia, the Sheffield Shield Final.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Clear cricket at the moment. Kelly Applebee, better than yesterday.
Oh, it's much better, isn't it? They're out there, and the wind seems like it has settled down a little bit, actually. It's still, I was looking at the forecast before, it still says it's 15 degrees, but feels more like 9. So quite chilly.
It is cold. Sutherland is bowling to McSweeney. It's on the pads, worked behind square for a single. He'll move to 52. Nathan McSweeney, 5 for 112. Big wicket, Jake Lehman, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a huge wicket, and the Vics knew it as well. Just on the back of the drinks break there, they would be so pleased to see him. They know that he's such a competitor this year. He's hit 561 runs.
Yep.
So he had a pretty decent season. So they'll be really pleased to see the back of him.
Averaged 40. The top 9 run scorers in Sheffield Shield season this season averaged in the 30s. Top 9, which is remarkable. So he did have an average above 40. He's back in the sheds though. Sutherland, 3 slips in a gully, bowls on the pads of Scott, who works it well in front of square. They'll take one, turn for a second, get back comfortably. So Liam Scott is off the mark. He has 2, 5 for 114. You mentioned he's the Sheffield Shield Player of the Year, Liam Scott, in the voting. He just narrowly edged out Mitch Perry, who is running the drinks.
Yes, well,
in this game.
Yeah, obviously massive conversation about Mitch Perry, but also Elliott as well, in terms of which way they would go in regards to the selection. Elliott's done a pretty good job at the moment. He's got 1 wicket.
So Liam Scott was the winner, Perry second. A few other players who featured in the top 5 or 6. Sutherland bowling to Scott, who defends off the stump. So 15 votes for Liam Scott, the Sheffield Shield Player of the Season. Mitch Perry was second by a vote. Nathan McAndrew in third. Then Bo Webster equal with McAndrew on 13 votes from Tasmania. And then Peter Hanscom and Sam Harper both on 12. So was that 5 of the top 6 featuring in this game, which shows why these two sides are in the final.
It's funny, you stole my thunder. I had exactly the same information in front of me there. I was ready to go. I don't have those, Shield stories of back in the day, so I was gonna work off with the stats there.
I will have plenty of stories. Sutherland bowling to Scott, who nudges it out forward of mid-wicket for a nice easy single. Moves to 3, 5 for 115. We'll find stories. They just pop up out of nowhere.
Well, what I've learnt from listening to your stories this morning, and no doubt they were the same yesterday as well, you're a very one-eyed WA fan, is supporter, is that... And I also looked you up as well, and it said that I think there was a reference there of a sport snuffy. So it sounds like you are, you know your thing or two about sport.
I think we're all sport snuffies, aren't we? That's why we work in this industry. That's why, former players like yourself, Kelly Applebee, that's why you stay involved, because you love it.
Yeah, this is very true, isn't it? And, what better, spot to watch cricket as well is up here, and it's an exciting little contest right now.
We're behind Nathan McSweeney, who is watching the ball from Will Sutherland through to the gloves of Sam Harper. I mean, yeah, parochial West Australian in the cricketing sense, which is great. I'm here because I'm neutral. You're Victorian. You played for Victoria. Hodge, Bobby Quiney, Adam Crosswaite.
Definitely not
full
neutral.
of Victorians.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
So maybe I have to fly the flag for South Australia.
I'm sure there'd be many listeners that would be very pleased to hear that on this occasion as well.
So I might just have to, keep pushing the South Australian side of things. They're trying to fight under the pump at the moment. The captain, McSweeney, is facing, looking to drive off the back foot. Can't beat the offside field. It's a dot ball, and that's the end of the Will Sutherland over. 5 for 115, South Australia. McSweeney, 52. Liam Scott is on 3. Great to have your company. The Sheffield Shield Final on ABC Sport. It's a beautiful cricket ground, Junction Oval. It's a cricket ground. It's got the white picket fence. It's got the old stands.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's a ground that I played a lot of my cricket on, and probably one of my favourite grounds anywhere really. I mean, I've been lucky enough to play at the MCG and the WACA and those types of grounds as well. But for me, this is such a beautiful ground. It's got the old stands, but it actually really feels like you're close to the people coming to watch the game as well. And the conditions to continue to get better and better here. The ground staff do an outstanding job as well. So it's a great place to play cricket.
Elliott will continue bowling to Scott. It's on the stumps, the inside edges as he looks to defend. Out behind square leg. Thought of a second, but good fielding by
Scott. Seems like he hasn't really picked up the conditions just yet. Just a couple of, inside edges. Not quite kind of getting the timing just yet. As we spoke about, it can be really hard to get your innings started here at the Junction Oval, and he hasn't quite hit one off the middle yet.
So he's on 4 now from 10 deliveries. Has had a strong season, Liam Scott, in all formats. He's a key player in the Big Bash as well for the Strikers. Elliott bowls and left alone outside the off stump by Nathan McSweeney. So, the numbers for him, 12 innings, 496 runs at 41 with the bat, 23 wickets at 25 with the ball. So, has a century to his name, has a 5 with the ball.
He's played a little bit of Aussie A stuff as well, so he's had a little bit of exposure to kind of stepping up as well. So he's an exciting prospect, not only in this game, but for future honours as well.
Elliott's bowling full, looking to drive as McSweeney, a little inside edgy, out towards Marcus Harris at mid-on for no run. He's from Crow's Nest, New South Wales originally as a youngster.
Okay, I've never been to Crow's Nest.
What a great name though.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it?
Crow's Nest.
No, it's it's always so nice to see, the young cricketers kind of coming through and really starting to see them forge and understand their game more and more, and really take it up to some outstanding opponents.
It's the captain, Nathan McSweeney, on strike. Elliott bowls, looking to drive again off the inside half of the bat. Just wide of mid-on to Marcus Harris, who's getting a bit of fielding work. The wind just picking up a little bit again here.
I wonder whether the Vics will start thinking about whether they, especially just before lunch, whether they think of bringing someone like Murphy on, just to see whether they can, try and get another wicket before that lunch and try and break this pair up. They'll know how important this partnership is in terms of the first innings for the batting side.
Bowled the 3 overs yesterday, Todd Murphy. Elliott has ball in hand now, bowling to McSweeney, who leaves it alone outside that off stump again. Plenty of chatter coming from the Victorian side, certainly Sammy Harper behind the stumps.
I tell you what, I can't wait to watch him bat, Sammy Harper. I've loved the cricket that I have watched this year, and I loved his approach. Very different to the traditional way, I guess, that our Shield, top order bats play. But I love his ability to be able to be quite aggressive, but then also play those traditional shots.
It's just been an incredible season with red and white ball for Sam Harper. Bowling here is Elliott, full to McSweeney. It's off the boot, it goes to mid-on. He went up. I think it rolled on the pitch though, so.
I think that was Harris just trying to play a little bit of game there with the batter did actually kind of stop and look for a second.
Yeah. Bounce, one bounce into Elliott's foot up to mid-on, and they all kind of went up. There might have been one or two that was like, hang on, is that out? But it's a dot ball to end the over anyway. McSweeney's 52. Liam Scott is 4. South Australia are 5 for 116. They were sent in yesterday by the Victorian side. They finished the day, which was concluded early, at 3 for 55 with Nathan McSweeney on 25, Alex Carey on 11. Nathan McSweeney is still out there on 52. Alex Carey is back in the sheds, chopped on to Sam Elliott for 26, and then Jake Lehman. After the resumption from drinks, he was well caught in the gully by Dylan Brasher off the bowling of Will Sutherland for just 10. So Sutherland has 2 wickets, has 1 today. Boland 1, O'Neill 1, Elliott 1. So it's been a pretty consistent across the board performance.
Yeah, we're just talking about Boland as well. He's about to come back in and bowl from. Did he bowl that end? He did, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So
from where he opened the bottom.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, so from the Fitzroy end. And it's an amazing stat as well. He's only played 5 matches this year as well, and he's got 26 wickets to his name before this match commenced. So, again, the Vicks will be trying to see whether they can sneak a couple through here.
2 out on the leg side for Scott Boland. Back into the attack, bowling to Scott, who is happy to watch it through to Sam Harper. 100th Sheffield Shield match for Scott Boland, who's been an absolute warrior for Victoria for such a long time. It's been great in the last few years to see him do it at international level.
Yeah, he's an outstanding individual, but such a good cricketer. He just seems like he goes about his business. I'm sure that there's that larrikin side of him as well that, the likes of Bobby could talk about, but he just seems like he could just go all day. Just, comes in, hits the deck, doesn't show a lot of emotion at times, but I tell you what, he's an outstanding bowler.
Right arm over Boland on the pads of Scott, who works it out through square leg to the fielder in the deep. They keep it to just 1. Scott moves to 5 for 117. And always been good at Shield cricket, given he's the all-time leading wicket taker for Victoria, now on 381 wickets at 23, which is an incredible longevity and consistency. But since he's gone to the Australian side, it's almost like he's gotten even better when he comes back to Shield level. He's taken 26 wickets at 14 this season in his 5 matches.
Yeah, it's some outstanding stats there, isn't it?
Just takes wickets all the time, Scott Boland. Bowling to McSweeney, edge, caught by Harper. Scott Boland on cue. Gets the South Australian captain. Great catch by Sammy Harper, going low to his right.
What an outstanding catch. You actually heard Boland, it sounded like he put a little bit of an extra effort into that one. Fantastic catch there, diving to his right. The Vicks were very, very pleased with that.
There's a great catch by Sammy Harper, diving away to his right in front of first slip, pouching in the right glove. And that's another big, big wicket. The South Australian captain has to depart for 52. Nathan McSweeney is on his way back to the sheds. And another big breakthrough, the 3rd wicket of the day.
This is fantastic work for Victoria. SA will be disappointed to see that their in-form batter in McSweeney is out. He did all the hard yards, to be honest with you. He worked so hard. It was tough conditions out there yesterday and then today as well. The Vicks know just how important that wicket is. And that's exactly why they would have brought Boland on. They would have said, we need another wicket. We want to try and get, as many as we possibly can before the lunch break. Really start to put doubt in the mind of the SA lower order here, and that's exactly what Boland has been able to do.
So massive breakthrough for the Victorian side. They are taking fairly regular wickets now as well. So new batter to the crease in Ben Menenti. He's got a big task on his hands. 2 slips still in place. Boland, the Fitzroy Road end, is bowling short of a length, and defending is Menenti, who's no slouch with the bat for sure, but conditions that really do suit Scott Boland at the moment.
They do indeed, and he would have been happy that one was kind of going middle and leg then. He didn't want to get the one exactly like McSweeney got. It was a great delivery. And the most important thing for these two here is, as you mentioned earlier, they've got plenty of time on their hands. They really just need to try and work through, get to lunch without losing any more wickets, regroup, spend some time out in the middle.
6 for 117. Boland charges in, bowls to Manenti. It's full and dug out towards mid-off for no run. Kelly Applebee alongside myself, Mitch Turner, for ABC Sport here at Junction Oval in Melbourne, the Sheffield Shield Final. Victoria be very happy with their decision to send South Australia in. Lost a lot of time yesterday, but they're making up for it by taking wickets and moving this game forward.
Yeah, they are indeed, and it would have been so tough yesterday sitting there, you know, first day of the final, wanting to get out there, and the weather obviously didn't help the situation, but the Vics have really come out.
Just walk in as Boland delivers, and Manenti is off the back foot, working it behind point, down towards the boundary. The chase is on, the dive comes, unable to stop it in the field was Ollie Peake. There was young enthusiasm, but the chase was futile in the end. 6 for 121. Manenti is off the mark with a boundary. He moves to 4. Liam Scott is 5. The wicket of Nathan McSweeney, the captain, falling that over for 52. Caught behind off the bowling of Scott Boland. Just watch the replay again, Kelly Applebee. It was a nice delivery, and I hate to say it was a bit of a nothing shot from Nathan McSweeney. It was.
He kind of just poked at it, didn't he? You know, obviously Boland put the ball in the right spot there, but, you know, Harper, fantastic glove work, and it was no doubt a plan.
Yep.
You could see the reaction from a lot of the Victorian players. It was like they actually knew exactly how they wanted to execute, and they did it on that occasion. And they obviously know how important McSweeney is as well to the SA team. So, yeah, huge wicket for the team.
Fergus O'Neill back into the attack, bowling and driving is Scott straight to mid-off. No run. Bit of cheering. It was Campbell Callaway, I think, doing the fielding there, and got a nice round of applause. It'd be real cold out in the field. All the sweaters are on.
Yeah, you can see him just rubbing his hands there as well. And you know, there was a little bit of a celebration there in terms of his dive and his field, but that's what's really important as well. You want to be able to try and keep, you know, the fresh batter on strike. I mean, they're both fresh batters, but Scott, he becomes such an important element to this batting lineup now. We see a change in the field, just bringing up the deep square leg into a mid-wicket. Some extra protection there on the in the cover region.
Swapped a few around, so Campbell Callaway's gone to point. The two slips and a gully still in place. O'Neill bowls, and defending is Scott. They're quite close, the cordon down that end as well. Obviously, O'Neill is not the fastest bowler going around. It's more about placement and movement.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been so good for Victoria this year. They've got very traditional field set, 2 slips, gully, point, cover, both drives up, and a mid-wicket. So really asking Scott, if he wants to make runs, he has to play a good shot.
O'Neill to Scott, defending away from his pegs onto the leg side for no run. The Seagulls just continue to hang around and gather. Just behind point on the offside, there's a collection of them.
Every time I hear people talking about the Seagulls, I always think about Bobby Quiney stopping at the MCG, picking up the Seagull,
just
making sure it was okay.
Human. Wonderful
Isn't
human
he?
Is Bobby
Such a
Quiney.
good guy, hey?
That's why we have him involved in ABC Sport. O'Neill bowls again, happy to defend it away as Liam Scott. This is tight stuff from Fergus O'Neill. Yeah, he adds a lot to the box. We know if a Seagull goes down, we can send him out there. If they need a wicket, he can tell you how to get a batsman out.
Yeah, he's hard to stop when you start him talking. That's for sure.
Gardening tips.
Gardening tips,
especially with the wind. A lot of good tips coming there as well in the back of the box. Fergus O'Neill runs away from us, bowls, and trying to get it through the gate of Scott, who is defending again.
Some would say that he's a one-stop shop for useful information or useless information.
Very true.
No, I was lucky enough to spend some quality time with Bobby when I worked at the ACA, and he would go around to all the events, and he would MC it, and he's just got that personality that really can is infectious. So we take the mickey out of him, but he's okay. He's all right.
I walked in yesterday, and he said, "Free reign, Mitch. Take the mickey out of me."
Oh yeah.
All 5 days.
Oh, yeah. It's like.
I said, don't give me that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have banter. You got to have it.
Reckon we might have Todd Murphy next. The helmet's been run out. It is behind Sam Harper as O'Neill runs in, bowls to Scott, defends. And there's now a fielder in short on the leg side, catching mid-wicket position in Todd Murphy, who did the fielding. A dot ball and a maiden over for Fergus O'Neill. 6 for 121 South Australia. Ben Menenti is 4. Liam Scott is 5. The batters out today. Alex Carey for 26. Bowled by Elliott. Jake Lehman caught in the gully by Dylan Brasher off the bowling for Sutherland for 10. Nathan McSweeney, a half century for the captain before he was caught behind for 52 off the bowling of Scott Boland. So the helmet is out on the field. So whether they're thinking about a bit of spin soon, a fielder in close.
I definitely think that spin would be a really good option, even if it's just for a couple of overs. As we said, lunch is approaching reasonably soon. Just give someone like Murphy an opportunity, and just to see if he can toss a couple up and just see what the batters are interested in doing.
Boland to continue bowling to Menenti. Jags back in. He's in behind defending. You'd be filthy if you're the 12th man who's just run the helmet up to the other end for no reason, for the keeper, Sam Harper and Sutherland and Hanscom Sips to come back to this end and have the helmet behind them 25 metres from where he was sitting. So just a bit of extra cardio.
Yeah, I actually think I would love to put the radar on some of the people that have to run out the extra drink or the helmet or whatever. I reckon they do more Ks than some of these bowlers.
Than Pete Hanscom.
Yeah, well,
who's fielding at second slip for
the
entire innings.
He runs 20 metres every 5 minutes, and that's about it.
He's done enough running over his career, Pete Hanscom. Menenti awaits. Boland. Jags one back in. Hit on the pad. Big shout. No, says the umpire. It's a big appeal from the Victorian side. Going forward, it jagged right back in. Hit him on the pad.
Looks like
might
it was going
have
down
done too
leg.
much.
Wow, I thought it was going down leg at first view of it, but yeah. Great delivery, but well and truly going down leg side on that occasion. Vicks will be happy to see that movement, though. We put a little bit more doubt into the batter's mind. Just have to protect that one if it's just outside off, just in case it cuts back in.
Yeah, that, as you mentioned, Kelly Applebee, that is going to play tricks with the mind now. Do you leave it? Do you play it? Which one's going away? Which one's coming back in? Scott Boland has the ball on a string. Is bowling to Ben Menenti, who's defending. Jags back in again. This time he gets bat on it.
Really just trying not to give him any space there whatsoever. Unable to free his arms up. Doesn't have many options there on that type of delivery. I feel like Boland's bowling a bit quicker to this than this over as well. It just feels like the ball's coming on a bit quicker.
They can smell blood, can't they? Boland and O'Neill back into the attack. 6 down for 121 South Australia.
Well, they know that both of these batters, if they get going, they can do some real damage as well. Yeah. So, the Vicks will want to try and make sure they can roll them over as quick as they possibly can.
2 out on the leg side behind square. Boland to Menenti. It's short. It's pulled out through square leg. There's a fielder out there. Won't get it. Beautifully played by Ben Menenti for the boundary. He moves to 8, 6 for 125 South Australia. A very rare short ball.
Yeah, very outstanding shot here. Really just leant back on it, used the pace. Really, really good shot. And as you mentioned, I reckon we've only seen 2 or 3 in the whole game so far, those really short deliveries. We saw Boland bowl one earlier on in the game, and it literally went so far over the keeper's head that it went for 4 wides.
That was beautifully controlled by Menenti. There are still 2 behind square. Boland delivers. This one's full on the stumps, and Menenti does well. Pushes it to the covers, takes off for a quick single. The throw comes in, but he was safely home and moves to 9, 6 for 126.
That's outstanding cricket there, and he really just leant on it, used the pace, and just pushed into the cover there just for a quick single, easy single really. And that's exactly what South Australia need to do, they need to try and, I know it's difficult out there, but they need to try and continue to rotate the strike, because the bowlers will then be thinking, okay, now I'm bowling to Scott, this is what I need to do for him. So that's how they're going to try and get themselves into the game. As we see a change in the field, a deep square leg, making the run over to a cover position. So really trying to block that up now. Anticipate that it's going to be off or around his off stump.
Scott awaits, Boland lets it go on the stumps, and he just defends it back down the pitch 2 mid on to end the over. 6 for 126 South Australia. Scott is on 5. Ben Manenti is on 9. Boland has 2 wickets, so too does Will Sutherland, and then singles to Fergus O'Neill and Sammy Elliott. The conversation between the Vicks as Fergus O'Neill eventually removes his cap, and he will continue from this broadcast end.
It's funny, early on on day 2, I felt as though South Australia were a little bit, had more of the momentum.
Yep.
Especially when Carey was out there, he had this great ability to be a little bit more, not aggressive, but he was quite positive with his footwork. He was able to rotate the strike. But since then, it's been Victoria that have really continued to apply the pressure. Haven't done a lot wrong, to be honest with you.
Yep. They put on 68, McSweeney and Carey for that wicket. O'Neill bowls, and just off the hip to the leg side for no run, Manenti. So they put on 68. You felt like they had to get 100 plus for that partnership to drag them back in, and the breakthrough came. A bit of a loose shot from Alex Carey, looking to drive that ball on the up, and thick inside edge of the bowling of Elliott back onto his stumps and thudded.
And to be honest with you, that's probably what they need from this pair here. They really need to be able to try and, obviously, if they can, get a 100-odd run partnership.
O'Neill bowls and driven beautifully by Manenti. Out through the covers, chase is on. And it was more of a thought than an execution. Never going to get there and get that ball. So that's another boundary to Ben Manenti, who's dealing in fours at the moment, moves to 13. South Australia 6 for 130. Lovely shot on the up.
Yeah, and that you can see that he's quite confident in doing that as well. He knows that he's still got 2 slips in a gully behind him. So if he mishits it, then there's a bit of a struggle there. But on that occasion, just a little bit too wide and easy for Manenti just to lean on that and push it through cover.
Awaits again, Manenti. O'Neill, right arm over. He hit on the pad in front of the stumps. Shake of the head from the umpire. Might have been going down leg again. A couple of noises maybe. It was a big shout from the Victorians, but short-lived.
Good response here from O'Neill. I think you're right, going down leg.
Yeah. He even gestured himself to the umpire, Fergus O'Neill, as he came back past and just kind of went, yeah, that's going down leg, isn't it? Which I always wonder, the umpire says, why do you appeal then? if you know what it is.
It's time to process it and think about it.
O'Neill continues. Manenti this time defending with bat on ball. It is funny, you come back and they go, oh, it's missing leg, wasn't it? Why are you trying to trick me then?
Well, you literally have a split second to be able to make a decision whether you're going to appeal or not.
It's a funny thing, appealing, isn't it? Like, you're trying to sometimes trick the umpire into when you know it's not out, but you're appealing.
Well,
it's
you just want to give them an opportunity to get in the game,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just see if they're, watching and they're ready to go.
It's actually, I'm not going to get into it, but appealing is just strange in general, I think.
It is indeed.
Fielder moved out to point, 1 slip in place. O'Neill bowls. Manenti almost pops it up off the pad. It's a dot ball.
And
like it's part of the game, right? So the laws of the game is that you are out if this happens, but you actually have to ask them to enforce it. Yeah,
well, it's funny. It's really not like, how is that? You're not really saying that. You kind of just scream. You're just like, like it's not. Yeah. You don't actually probably hear anyone say, how's that? Like it's just kind of evolved.
That was too much.
Yeah.
So then it was how's that?
Yeah.
Now it's just
Yeah.
O'Neill bowling to Manenti, battle off to Waits and defends confidently off the stumps. It's not like you kick a goal in Aussie rules and you turn to the umpire and say, is that a goal? And they go, yes, that's a goal. Or you do something. Or in basketball, you don't put it through the hoop and then turn around and say, is that 2 points? No, that's 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, in those, it's a little bit easier because it has to either go through a hoop or it has to go through, the goal post. So a little bit easier, but I see your point.
But you have to appeal.
You do, yeah.
There's been some interesting ones in local cricket lately. By the way, end of the over, I should say that. End of the Fergus O'Neill over, and it's 6 for 130 with the two bats, Liam Scott 5, Ben Menenzi 13. There's been a few around local cricket lately of the questionable appeals, the handling the ball, the obstructing the field.
Yeah, I don't really
hate
like
them.
that one.
No.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Get them out on merit.
Yeah, yeah. None of this, like, even like joking, oh, how's that? Like, come on, let's just get on with it.
Yeah. If you pick up the ball as a bat, it's not in the stumps, it drops. You pick it up and give it back to the bowler as you would in the nets, and, you know, it's a courteous thing to do.
Spirit of cricket, isn't
You
it,
should
really?
not be appealing. And if you do appeal, you should regret it and withdraw the appeal.
What do you think, though, if they're out of their crease and you...
That's different. Boland is in, bowling to Scott, who defends towards point, no run. If you're out of your crease, I think the whole Alex Carey style stumping, which you saw an attempt yesterday by Sammy Harper, if he was up to the stumps, we wouldn't question it.
Yeah.
So because they're back, it's like, well, you can't be stumped anymore.
Yeah.
And that's been happening forever. Keepers have been having shies at the stumps from back, or an
without a
LBW
doubt.
appeal and a slips fielder throws it at the stumps and tries to get a stumping or run out.
No, you're right. That is exactly how it should be, in my view.
Yeah.
If you're out of your crease and the ball is still live, then you've got every opportunity to be able to hit the stumps.
You're trying to seek an advantage from coming forward. Boland to Scott, back of a length, just defends it towards cover. Like if you're batting out of your crease as well, you're doing that to get an advantage.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Keep you in your crease.
Yeah.
Step back in.
And that quite often we see that when, you know, the keeper will come up just to try and pull you back into the crease as well. It's so annoying when that happens. You're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. Especially when they've tied you down.
Yeah.
Which was happening in the Ashes to this bowler, Scott Boland, who was bowling, and Alex Carey throughout the summer came up to the stumps and helped keep those English bats in the crease. It worked incredibly effectively. Two slips in place. Liam Scott on strike. Boland delivers, left alone over the top of the stumps. Good leave through to Sammy Harper.
It is an outstanding leave, and the ability to be able to know that that one was going over to the top. You see Boland, he was quite happy to see that, though, see that leave. Oh, it's just gone straight over the top of middle and off there. Would make me a little bit nervous.
Yeah. I think it made Liam Scott nervous when he saw Boland's reaction. He thought, that might have been closer than I thought. He had a little look back. Sam Harper was taken. Thought, oh, hang on. Two types of leaves. We always say it. That falls in the right category.
Yes.
If you're the batsman. Scott taps the bat. Boland delivers, defends. This time he uses the willow and pushes it towards mid-off for no run. It's been good bounce in this deck, though. Like, it's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, look, I think it's, you know, that's what you want. You want the pitch to be quite challenging for, and have a little bit of it in it for everyone as well. So, yeah, it has been quite consistent. As you mentioned earlier, probably haven't really seen too many short balls. The Vicks are really just trying to kind of get that, you know, really solid short of a length. Every now and again, they'll throw in a bit of a fuller one.
Scott Boland, can he get another one for the Victorians? Just tick past midday here at Junction Oval. Boland delivers. Scott happy to just defend the ball back to mid-off. And
it's funny, just watching Scott, he looks like he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable now. Just the way he's playing his shots, those decision-making as well. So, you know, he's 13. No, he's not. He's 5 off 24. So he's spent a little bit of time out there now. He's being able to kind of, you know, assess the situation, and both of these batters will be wanting to go into lunch still out there.
Scotty Boland's into his 17th over now. 2 for 50. So, well and truly into his work. The wind continues to blow. Boland from the Fitzroy Road end delivers to Scott. It jacks back in. He looks to defend, gets a little inside edge out to mid-wicket and takes a quick single. Adds 1 to his score. Scott is on 6. Ben Menenzi is on 13. South Australia are 6 for 131. We're going to have a double change here. Ned, you ready to go? Here we go. Let's step out. Myself and Kelly Applebee will step out, and Bob Quiney and Ned Hall will rejoin you.
Live coverage of the cricket. Victoria versus South Australia. The Sheffield Shield Final.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Interesting little half-hour run or so up into lunch from here with South Australia 6 for 131. And Liam Scott, a watchful 6 off 25, and Ben Manenti a little more aggressive at the other end, 13 off 14 deliveries so far. It'll be Fergus O'Neill with the ball in hand. Sam Harper standing up with Liam Scott on strike. O'Neill coming in, 2 slips in the gully, still in place as O'Neill comes in. It's pushed out on the offside. They'll just get through and pick up a single. Thought of a shy at the stumps then from Campbell Kellaway. I thought better of it, so they get through, and it brings Manenti onto strike.
Great batting there from Liam Scott. Clearly a stump-to-stump field, particularly with Sam Harper up to the stumps. I like the aggressive nature that Sam Harper brings in a sense that, yes, it's nipping around, but maybe they see that stump-to-stump, maybe get a half step in for Liam Scott, who's got some long legs, so he's got a long reach, but he's played that well. Forward defence, gap on the offside.
Sam Harper back for Manenti. And Manenti steps back and pushes this back up towards Fergus O'Neill. First delivery in to Manenti, who's had an interesting little spell of time. Obviously played with Italy at the World Cup, with his brother captaining the Italian side. They had a good win against Nepal during the course of that tournament, so it was a decent little spell they had playing over there in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, but you got some decent quality players. Like Ben Manenti is a very good player. He's passionate, and one of the things you see, he generally wants to win and cares about his team.
O'Neill comes and it jags back. There's an appeal from Fergus O'Neill, but a shake of the head again very quickly by the umpire, turning that one down. Didn't get a long way forward, but probably again looks like it was just drifting down leg, if anything.
Also, the bounce has come into play as well here. Maybe less so there. I think today, maybe even to tomorrow, that you've got to be really full for it to be LBW here. So I think the umpiring has been good with the LBW decisions so far. But Ben Manenti's been in this situation so many times over the course of the last 3 seasons, and his ability then put the pressure back onto the opposition has been superb. Oh, that's got him in a bad spot.
Yeah, it's jagged back into Ben Manenti and caught him. He's down on his haunches. He's up quickly on his toes and having a little jog around. So
like a boxer.
Recovering himself quickly.
It's
you heard a little asking again, because he did appeal again then.
Said the
Fergus
height.
O'Neill, and he said a bit high. Probably right. Although it's
well, he was in his normal stance when it struck him there, so that clearly says to me that it's going over. So, yeah, geez, he's got back on the horse pretty quickly here, Ben Manenti. I would have taken a bit more time.
He's facing up again as O'Neill comes in. This one,
look at that,
pushed out on the offside.
Great response from Fergus O'Neill, but even better from Ben Manenti to get back in and brave enough. I know it's just a forward defence that we saw there, but literally the ball before was only 4 inches shorter, and got him in a spot that you don't want to get hit. Now, we talk about, I just said then, you know, maybe should have taken a bit more time. We're only 23 minutes to lunch. This is the half an hour, which is almost like a bonus half an hour. Who's it a bonus for?
Well,
we don't know yet, but it should actually suit the Victorians, in my opinion. It's challenging the South Australian batters for a bit longer.
Pitched up, driven out on the offside by Ben Manenti. Didn't get hold of that one particularly well. It bobbles its way out there. It's a dot ball, and rounds off another very tidy over then from Fergus O'Neill, with only 1 run coming from it. He's won the 21 of 17 overs that he's bowled so far today, so he's kept things really, really tidy out there. And it's interesting to see how the South Australians approach this. I mean, we saw Ben Manenti's been maybe a bit more aggressive. He's played a few shots going out there straight away, but again, they will be saying, we've got to get through to lunch, the pair of us out here.
Yeah, there's an element still to play natural game. Like, his strike rate this season is 85. So you look at that and go, well, you'd rather him get through playing his way as opposed to survive, because if he doesn't feel as comfortable surviving, he's going to get out anyway. So understanding that, you know, you're coming across Fergus O'Neill, who's been so accurate this morning. I think maybe Scott Boland's the one that's going to be a bit more attacking, which means that Manenti can respond accordingly as well.
So Boland comes in now into Scott. Gets back behind this, plays it back up towards the bowler, and then quickly tries to scurry out of the way.
It's a big 20 minutes for Liam Scott here, because generally he likes to go a little bit quicker as well. Strike rate this year up in the 60s, and, you know, there's a reason why he's been the Shield Player of the Year, not just with the ball, but with the bat. He's done a really good job. But it's a test here, and you know, I'm sure they've had words of encouragement and advice about you don't have to rush, but then, as I said, you don't necessarily have to just sit still, because if you're sitting still, you're just delaying the inevitable here.
He's facing up to Scott Boland again now, and it squirts off a bit of a leading edge, and it runs down wide of gully, out towards the boundary rope, but it's been comfortably tracked down by Campbell Kellaway in the end, but they do get back and run a couple. So, sure that'll be too discouraging then for Scott Boland to see if he finds a bit of a leading edge. Incidentally, you can still get in touch with us, 0467 920 222. A couple of messages in here which we didn't get to earlier on. Barry and Adelaide, we were talking a little bit about this. Comments really from Pat Cummins talking about the difficulty now for players playing franchise cricket, or whether or not they're going to be playing test cricket, and so that guys in the Australian setup turning down $500,000 for, well, £500,000 for 20 days work to play in the couple of tests against Bangladesh, as this one's driven out on the offside by Liam Scott.
Yeah, I scanned over that article, and I wanted to read it at some stage today or tomorrow about it. All the narrative, all the messaging that's coming out at the moment is that the tradition of test cricket, less so for maybe sort of India, England and Australia, is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
And therefore, if that means that's the case, then what does that mean for Sheffield Shield cricket? What does it mean for county cricket? And what does it mean for your domestic cricket in India, like your Ranji Trophy? So, yeah, I mean, from a traditionalist, it sucks, right? Because I love this game. I love like I said today, I want to know what's happening at the end of this day.
Boland comes in to Scott, who just clatters into his pads, and again a truncated appeal by the Victorians there as it ran away on that onside. The point that Barry from Adelaide was making, I'm disappointed that Travis Head hasn't been available to play for the Shield final. He played in the great win against New South Wales at Karen Rolton Oval recently. He should be financially comfortable enough by now to stick with his stateside in these big games. But I was just looking at what he's getting, or what he signed for when he at his IPL auction was US dollars, about 1.2 million.
There's another layer of that, Ned, as well, is that if all of a sudden Travis Head says, no, I'm not coming, or no, I can't come because of this, and doesn't prioritise the IPL, he can get banned for 2 years.
Exactly. And that's what I say, the pressure now to go and sign on. If you've signed your contract there, you've got to go. And that is the power as well. The IPL and the BCCI has let go outside the off stump. And so that in particular is a huge sway over world cricket. But again, I'm sure Travis Head would love to be out there with his South Australian teammates and enjoy playing with them. But at the same time, again, the fact that he's over $1 million for going over and playing in the IPL, it's very hard to turn that down for what was a match he wouldn't necessarily have known he was going to be involved in.
So I was fortunate enough that Nathan McAndrew reached out to me last season, and I was doing some commentary for CA, and we were discussing that very point. And it wasn't that Travis Head owes it to South Australia, or Travis Head should choose South Australia. It's a shame that he couldn't play because of what he's done over the last 10 years.
Boland comes in again to Scott.
Oh, my goodness.
Misses the off stump by a whisker. Swinging back in towards him, pushing forward that ball, goes past the edge of the bat and just missed the off stump. And Scott Boland staring in disbelief that he didn't pick up a third wicket of the innings. South Australia 6 for 134.
He was hoping for some bit of wood, whether it be the bat or the stump, and it's missed both. Even Liam Scott, as we see the replay, luckily enough, inside here, disbelief as to what just happened. But do you know what? I think Scott Boland at the moment, and I think he's bowled a lot better in this second spell. He's got 2 wickets. There's an element right now, he probably feels like, why aren't I getting a little bit more? Why can't I get another wicket? And I think, you know, if I was the coach or the bowling coach of Victoria right now, I'd be saying, you're hitting some rhythm. Hit rhythm now, knowing that, guess what? We're going to need you come second innings. Like, yes, we still need you now, but it could turn. So he could be bowling his backside off and not getting the rewards, but it's the partnership bowling. And I think, you know, now, you know, Sutherland replaces Fergus O'Neill. You know, Sutherland's got to hit that length straight away.
He's bowling to Menenti, comes in from the city end. This one drifts out towards the leg side, and that is slapped away by Ben Menenti. Just pivoted on his heels, pulls it away. Says thanks very much to Will Sutherland for a bit of a loosening ball for him.
I wonder if there's a little discussion being had within the batting group or the team in general of first balls of spells, and whether they think, you know, some of these guys just labour in and ease into their spell, because, I mean, that wasn't that short. It was probably waist high after it bounced, and he just that was like a cross-court shot in tennis.